get all my.
Is Todd in today?
Yeah, just Todd. Have you done the show with Todd?
Once, yeah. Who you doing for your afternoon show?
I'm still putting the team together. I got a person. I don't really want to. You'll see one of the people today, but I don't really want to talk about my other ones because if I get them, then the world is, then it's gonna just be so stupid around this motherfucker. It's gonna be like,
really?
Oh yeah. I mean, my lineup is already finna be stupid. So I got a morning show. I got a midday show. I have a.
You're doing a midday show?
No, I have a woman doing a midday show.
Yeah.
Then I got a sports podcast I got a sports podcast 2 days a week, and I got a Tucson and Todd, you know Jasmine, right?
I do.
Have you got okay? Yeah. So yeah, we got
years and years though.
Okay, everybody, Todd is.
Wait till you get to be 57. Everything feels like years and years.
Yeah. But we've all done the show together.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I wasn't sure if we had or not. Mama, tell me what I don't think I appreciated this song as much. I used to get mad because they played it so much, and now it's like I'd be like, "Damn, that's really a good song." Oops. Who's on your mind? 'Cause I can't wait, baby. Telephone. I can't wait, baby. Alone. All right, y'all. I just want to let y'all know. Yesterday we did almost $200 in penny contributions. That was pretty dope.
What's penny contribution?
I got stars. So they charge you. You get paid a penny per star.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And people live as they're watching can.
So once you get to 10,000 likes on Facebook, I was
you
like,
gotta
what?
have 10,000 likes. I mean, not likes, followers. Plus, you have to have 30,000 1 minute views in a 1 month period.
Gotcha. And then after that, Facebook will pay you for the likes. Is Facebook or something?
It's like levels. It's like crazy. It's like the hurdles to get to. The hurdles to get there are crazy. Like it's like I was like, you know how you see people and they're monetizing, you be like, dang, what do I need to do? And then
now you see why they post these videos nonstop because they're trying to get those viewers. So yeah,
I just put up. My thing has always been quality over quantity. Mm-hmm. So trying to, and I think once
which will be less work that you have to do.
But I also do long videos like. The time spent listening, the average person watches the show for like 20 minutes, which is like freaking unheard of in the social space. Yeah. So it's like good. What are we 604? All right. I'm not ready yet, so I'm not even on front. So am I giving out 872-259-74? Am I giving out 872-259-7474 still? So we're not taking calls. The 85, the number that I called with the that I told you that we could put, huh? All right, I gotta write that down. What? Oh. Yeah, I said stop guessing. I told you, like, from now on, if something's not working, just call them, and that's my point. Like, stop trying to. Right, I'm saying. Okay. He was cool. This crazy rock music. Y'all don't know nothing about crazy rock. That's okay. I'm gonna learn y'all one day. All right. Todrick.
Mm-hmm.
Just make sure. I ain't going, man. All right, what time is it? 6:06. All right, I think I'm ready. Close that door for me, Steve, would you? The big door. Oh, y'all want some air? Yeah, I'll turn on some air. Ooh.
This has a new wave sound to it.
Man. Ugh. All right, y'all. And if you adjust it, twist the handle right here, this right here, to adjust it, and then you can turn it here to twist it.
Okay.
But
don't move.
like if you want to turn it.
Okay.
Ain't no hocus pocus. They will all know us. Wake up, Chicago. Wake up, world. This is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger. Todd, how you feeling this morning, man?
Man, I'm feeling great, and I'm also happy that I can not have all this over masculinity next to me.
This over masculinity next to you? I'm confused, Todd. What are you trying to say? I know I'm like Superman in this piece. Yeah, I know I'm like Superman in this piece. You know what I'm saying? So this your man, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Stroger.
I'm the smart one.
Oh. That's all right. Would you rather have brains or brawn?
I like to have brains and hire somebody from Bolingbrook.
That's what I'm talking about.
That Bolingbrook, but you're on the other side of the glass.
Hey, man, you know what? Y'all tripping, man. Y'all are tripping. All right, this is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger. But, hey, you know what? Y'all been calling me. Y'all been hitting me up. Y'all been ringing me up. Y'all been saying, where is Ruthie Moore? Where is Ruthie Moore? Where is Ruthie Moore? Well, y'all know Ruthie Moore is going to be out of town for a little bit. Excuse me. She's not out of town. She's actually taking care of some business in town that pays better than we do, right? So sitting in for her for the next couple days, y'all remember her. It is Miss Jasmine Turner. Now I'm gonna tell y'all before we even get started.
Oh,
before we even get started, Jasmine, I'm just telling you. Look, I'm telling you. Before we get started. Before we even get started, oh Lord, what am I doing? Before we even get started, I'm just telling you now, we don't want no trouble. All right, Jasmine, how you feeling? What you been up to?
Man, everything. But I come in peace. I come in peace today.
You know what? We gotta have peace because you know what? It's a war going on outside in the streets right now. And so I think it's gonna require all of us to get together and try and figure our way forward. Now that is Miss Jasmine Turner, so I'm feeling good. We got her in the building. Now y'all know we gotta say what's up to the musical conductor of the Soul Plane, Miss Sonia Escobar. Sonia, how you feeling this morning? It's crisp. Crisp. You know what I'm saying? You know what it sounds like. Crispy, crackly, crunchy, fresh. You know what? Shout out to my man Elliot who came through yesterday. Todd, he had me here past my, you know, I start to get itchy when it's time to go home. After 7:30, I'm like, you know, I do have to get up in the morning, right? And you know how like, you know how like somebody like really loves what they do, so they be like, oh, why don't we try this? And they like this, and they be like, oh, let's do this and this, and do something else. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? And it's like, you know, then they get to talking, they be chilling. I be like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I gotta go.
You know, I got to get in the bed. And then it's like, if I'm not at home on my schedule, then things get a little crazy. I start feeling some kind of way. Like, and then if I get home by 7 o'clock, like, if I don't get home till 7 o'clock, that means that I'm not through cooking till 8 o'clock, which means that I'm not sitting down to watch Chicago Tonight till 8 o'clock, which means that it's 9 o'clock by the time I get through looking, and I'm like, dang, where'd the night go? You know, brother? You know, like when I used to stay up till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. The 9 o'clock of the evening was young. 9 o'clock now, I'd be like, All right, look, y'all, we got everybody locked and loaded, so let's do this. Seems like the Soul Plane is ready. Let's get this thing up and away. Let's get this thing to 60,000 feet. I am your host, Maze Jackson, Todd Stroger, and Miss Jasmine Turner sitting in. Now, look, y'all, we're going to try another number today. So as we continue to build out the ultimate black radio, social radio station in the history of the world, we are testing, you know, so you all are in the beta. You are in the beta phases. See, the thing is, here's the thing. Right, and we got to get it better. So here's the thing. People are like, why you do this? Why you do that? I was like, because you ever built a radio station in like 2 weeks?
Wow.
Like, straight up. Yeah, right, like it really was for it, because I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Shall I bow down? I was like, will I bend the knee? I was like, I will not bend the knee. I will not. And so then I was sitting out there at that table, Jasmine, we were sitting at earlier. Yeah. I was thinking that was gonna be the studio at one point, and I was like, nah. So we built out What's in for the Black People Radio. So y'all, we're testing out a new number because we're testing out phone systems to get the right actual system for us. So today we're going to take your calls at 773-466-9670. 773-466-9670. Give us a call. This is What's in for the Black People Radio. Now, I don't know if you're new, you're old, you're rocking with us. You can get us live on radio, 1570 AM. Don't forget the reality show that we call Facebook Live, the Maze Jackson Show. You can see everybody behind the scenes, what's going on. Like, I'm going to tell y'all. Now, Ruthie, now, Jasmine.
Yes.
Hold on.
I know y'all love Ruthie.
No, look, you like, hold on, look. See, now here's the thing. You got to remember, like, your job is to check Todd. Like, so your whole job, and see, when you start making the faces, when Todd starts saying crazy stuff, that's when you get the close-ups. So I'm telling you, y'all don't want to miss the Facebook Live, or you can catch us on YouTube too. So we are broadcasting live on YouTube, and if you want to hear us, you can get us on the TuneIn app. All right, so everybody, we are locked and loaded. All right, check this out. They got a suspect in the shooting of Janari Ricks, the 9-year-old who was shot on the in the row houses of Cabrini Green.
Right.
Yep.
Did you see my guy on the radio yesterday? I mean, on TV yesterday. He was telling y'all to stay in y'all neighborhoods. I used to go to the Cabrini Green reunion every Monday night. It used to be off the chain. Like, they tore down the buildings and people would come back, and they would all come back and party every Monday. And it was like an old school reunion because, you know, everybody
Outside?
Yeah, come on now, we black. You know they ain't letting up, especially in that neighborhood nowadays. So, right. But then all the white people who never knew that, like, you know, people watch Good Times and don't even know they living on the old space of Good Times. So all the white people like, what is all the colored people doing down there?
Yeah.
And they be doom 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 doom, and you know that house music be once they get, and they can go till 4:00, 5:00, they get deep house and all that stuff. But they come back from wherever they are to party.
Right.
But they also, one of the things that I noticed, and I actually live in a neighborhood like this where the guys who used to be on the deck in that neighborhood come back and still serve there. Right? They still come back and sell drugs or do whatever their illicit nefarious activities used to be. They come back. Home, huh? Well, I think that's where the clientele still is. Right? So, like, the ones, well, not just the row houses. I don't think.
Actually, the whole.
But you gotta talk to the mic.
Actually, the whole community probably.
Well, so I think the people that are in the row houses now are holding on. They're the remnants, like the people who are like the last fighters, and so people come back because, you know, you still remember this, the old neighborhood, what's left of it. Right. And, you know, if you want to stand outside, you can stand outside in the old neighborhood because you can't stand outside in. Well, nowadays, and depending on the suburb, you could be standing outside. So anyway, Alderman Burnett was like, man, y'all keep y'all stuff in y'all neighborhood. Don't move out and then bring it back. These people trying to live. And I think the thing that is happening right now we got to pay attention to in that area, Todd, is you saw that they went after Carol Steele. Right? And Carol Steele is like a stalwart. She was like a housing advocate. But now she is being accused of using the funds to feed her family. I've been hearing about these stories about the LACs, the local area councils. Mm-hmm. You know who is our resident expert on that? Tamiko Hope. She broke that down to me for like years before it happened, and now it's starting to happen. So it's going to be interesting to see. Look, y'all, like I said, I'm going to try and stick to our breaks because we do have commercials. They are coming in. We just landed we landed the Casino Law Group yesterday. Congrats. So we got another. Thank you. I'll explain it to you at a different time. But just be thankful. It's a group of lawyers.
Thank you, group of lawyers.
Group of lawyers that is recognizing the value. Let me just say this now before y'all even start. I just want to say this before we get started. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Now y'all can let these white people come in here and advertise all day long and then be mad, right? And then be mad. But
no, they can't be mad if they advertise.
That's my point. So I'm just telling y'all, there are white people who recognize the value of advertising with black people. I'm going to support them. It's sort of like our black elected officials, right? Like they want you to. We'll talk about it all. Look, Todd, like, are you starting this mess already? Look, we'll be back after this mix and a commercial from our dear friend Willie Wilson.
Okay. What's the commercial about?
He running for Senate. Willie Wilson was like the second person. Like, what's up? Telling you. Look at that. See that? 120 before 6:30.
That's a fact. Can they still hear us on Facebook Live?
Yes.
Oh,
Facebook
okay.
Live is live. It's the same way as it always was. You just got an individual camera right now. So if you want to, feel free. Y'all, you know, I'll give you a solo. Bam.
Oh, I don't
There
even
you
use.
go. Say hello to the peoples.
What
It's
up,
a delay.
y'all? How y'all doing? It's been a while, but I hope y'all miss me as much as I miss y'all. Like I said, I come in peace, but I'm not even reading the comments today. Because I want to make sure I come back tomorrow, so I'm going to read them afterwards.
Oh, God. Them comments is everybody's downfall. Todd, I think Todd got the smartest strategy. Don't even look. Yeah. Like, for me, yes. For me, it's like, all I have to do, oh, dang, look at this. All right, this is exactly what I'm looking for.
What?
You know, this restream is straight. Like, so I got everybody's comments from Facebook and YouTube. Shout out to Anthony Robinson on YouTube. Shout out to Alvin Norton on Facebook. What up, Entoi Dumela? That means Miss Paula, how you feeling? Shout out to everybody. Hey, y'all, I appreciate all the support on the stars. Don't forget, get them stars. Support the fam. Those star supporters are the people. I just seen 200 stars. Who was it? Who was that? I just seen you. I synced you. Let me see what I got today. Thanks to Chess, etc. Shout out to Stephen Hodo. Another. Shout out to Entoi Dumela for 400 stars. Let's get this thing cracking this morning. Let's get it cracking. You know what I'm saying? Every 50 cent help, right? So just think about this. Every star is... Hold on. I'm doing this wrong. Move you, take me. All right. Every star is 1 penny, right? Yesterday, we raised almost $200 in penny donations. That is interesting to say the least. Now, what I'm going to do is ask you all to continue to support. Now, we'll find other ways. But for a lot of you who are wanting to support and trying to figure out a way to support, I think the stars is a very efficient way. If you buy 3,000 stars, that's $30, right? Put 2 zeros in, so even if you buy 500, that's 50 cents, right? Every single bit helps. Now, all of that then goes to be reinvested in paying the salaries, paying for the staff, paying for the equipment. Remember, this is a labor of love. We bought the time, so it is important that we sell the time back. Now, if you are a sponsor or you want to support and you got the deck and you only got $30, I'm just going to be honest. By the time we put your one commercial on for $30, it's going to cost us $60. So if you want to support and you want to do it in small increments, consider using the stars. I appreciate y'all though. Regardless, we appreciate every bit. Thank you very much.
Todd, how you handling COVID?
I will leave here. I will go home.
Oh, really? So you still at level 1?
Yes. I may stop at Mariano's.
Yeah.
Because we do have to eat.
Right.
But that's it.
I was like that the first 30 days. I did not leave my house for 30 days. I ordered Instacart for groceries. I literally didn't leave my house. And then now, like, I went to a wedding outside this weekend. I went to a luau this weekend.
You about to... Oh, Lord. We got to spray your ass. Get the spray.
Outside,
I hope my wife's not listening.
So was it distance? Was your distance?
We're 6 feet. Yeah, we're socially distant.
Yeah.
We're 6 feet apart. And I'm 6 feet apart from y'all right now. I'm 6 feet apart from y'all right now.
It's more like 4.5, but...
You think so?
Yeah. I did go to a visitation yesterday, but...
What kind of visitation?
Funeral.
Now, see, that's where you're not supposed to be. Anything inside that's tight like that. Was it a regulated funeral? I mean, in regards to like 10 people?
Everybody had masks, but no, it was a prominent figure in the police department's father, so there was like 1 million people there.
Oh, okay.
We're about to come back. You are tuned in to What's in it for the Black People Radio live on WBGX 1570 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger. Miss Jasmine Turner is sitting in with us for the next couple of days. Hey, y'all, What's in it for the Black People Radio is growing. First of all, let me tell you, I'm excited to announce that starting next week, I said what I said. The podcast will join us here in the afternoon. Shout out to Toussaint Werner and Herb Howard. Also, shout out to the Bigs, our sports podcast, Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm gonna be honest with you. I am excited for Black Sports Talk. And these young brothers have been doing their thing, and they got great relationships with the black athletes. We're going to have them on this week, and I'm going to talk a little bit about black athletes because there's a lot going on in that space. But let's do this. Let's move on to some more headlines. Todd, did you see this was the most violent July in 28 years? Jasmine, you probably are too young to even recognize this. 28 years. Take away 28 years. No, I'm serious. Like, so that would have put 92. I feel like 92 was like when my cousin got his ear cut off at the plaza going to the movies.
Oh, wow.
Right? When the starter jacket era and everybody was taking everything.
I was an adult by that time. I wasn't fooling around.
Man, I'm going to tell you, it was tough back in the early 90s. Like, it was off the chain. Man, it was like everybody was, it was like, yeah, it was off the chain.
That was the year we went to New York.
New York for what?
The convention.
Oh, well, I'm going to tell you, the Nakers didn't go. They did not go. As the millennials call them, the Nakers. The Nakers didn't go. All right, y'all. Let me move on. Did you see more stores are closing for COVID? Two that stand out to me personally, Men's Warehouse. Men's Warehouse has really changed over the years, and they really have updated their styles. Like, I feel like Men's Warehouse was like the place you could just go and you knew you could find something. And they had like you see all these dudes running around here trying to be fancy. It's Men's Warehouse, right?
Oh. Okay,
Men's Warehouse, like, they changed their whole they're filing for bankruptcy, but also Lord & Taylor. And Lord & Taylor is special to me because, you know, I told you my mom had 2 credit cards, right? She had a Madigan's credit card. Remember Madigan? Do you remember the store Madigan's?
No, not at all.
There's a store called Madigan's. God, I've got so many clothes, I want to burn them all. Out in Yorktown. It's now called Von. It's now called Von Mar.
Okay.
And then Lord & Taylor. And so I would be wearing all of these clothes from Lord & Taylor because Lord & Taylor's a rich old white lady store. And my mom had a credit card for it. So I would have like all these rich old white kid clothes that now, looking back, I was wearing some bomb stuff, but it was like, what the hell? I don't want...
The kids didn't understand it was going on.
Exactly. No, they was like, why are you wearing... But, you know, I thought I was Alex P. Keaton, so I was kind of...
Oh, yeah, that's who you fit.
Right. I was... I used to carry a briefcase, wear a tie to school every day. People used to be like, is this fool really wearing it?
Why can I easily imagine that? Why can I easily see that?
Because I did. I was like, I ain't trying to be with y'all black people. Remember I told you I thought the white people told me I was special. You're not like
them. Still are special, trust me.
Right, that's what they say, but it's the wrong people saying it, right? All right.
But I do have a quick Lord & Taylor story.
Go ahead.
I remember I got my topsiders at Chernon's when I was a junior.
Topsiders? What are those? Boat shoes?
Topsiders, boat shoes.
Oh, boat shoes. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's probably like 79, 80 or something. So, like 84, I'm still wearing them. My mother comes to visit me at Xavier, and she's like, let's go to Lord & Taylor's.
I'm telling you, I think Lord & Taylor was the older black people was like, we arrived. Right?
So.
I'm barely familiar, and even if you think about Men's Warehouse, there's no digital presence. Like, you're not seeing them, at least in my case. I don't ever see them.
I would imagine you wouldn't see Men's Warehouse. But I agree. I don't see them.
They don't have any influencers that are tagging them, nothing like that. And so, like, in this world, if there's no digital presence, you're going to lose.
I think I would have told you maybe a year ago, I would say that there's 2 different people. Like, because I still like to go to the store and actually fit. I hate ordering clothes in the mail. I really do. Except for then when I ordered the clothes service and they just sent you a package every month and you open it and it was like good stuff. But I still feel like I need to go in the store. But I am going to tell you that Men's Warehouse does not have that.
Nordstrom's. That's what I like to do there.
Oh, what? I can't afford Nordstrom's. I go to the Rack.
Me too.
I said I like Nordstrom. I said I can afford it.
Okay. We're gonna talk about this later because it's just like I think they publish these just to make me act, just to piss me off.
What?
$61 million in weed sales.
You off? What you mean?
Did you? Was you in the long line? I think I saw you in the newspaper. Didn't
We're
gonna talk about that when we're gonna talk about that a little bit later. I'm gonna just tell y'all need to stick with your man, okay? Don't let these other people send y'all off. I know they had. Okay, I'm gonna stop. $5 million mask awareness campaign speaker JB Pritzker is launching. I want to know who's getting that money. I also want
marketing campaign.
Yeah,
right?
Who's getting the marketing? It's a lot of marketing campaigns going on. I want to know all the agencies that's getting the money because I'm telling y'all now, it's some black agencies getting this money. We want to see y'all.
Do you know who those agencies are?
I'm going to find out, and you know they will be announced broadly. See, what people be doing is they try to get the bag and sneak. And then they don't spend, like, you better start spending with these black media outlets. Act like it ain't one right here.
Right.
All right. Did you see? I got to call my guys because the Italian American Heritage Society of Chicago says they don't want no more Columbus. And then the Joint Civic Committee of Italian Americans said, you better give us our statue back. Now,
two groups of Italians?
Oh, no, it's like 100 groups of Italians now. It used to be 1. Now it's 100. And what you see is, so let me tell you what.
I saw him on WTTW, and the young guy was like, "We want our statues," and the old guy was like, "Okay, that's enough of those statues."
Okay, so here's what I think is interesting. So the one originated from the Italian American Civic Committee, the Joint Civic Committee of the Italian American Heritage Society of Chicago. That's like all the white Italians that moved here, right? It seems like the Joint Civic Committee of Italian Americans in Stone Park. That sounds like the real Italians.
That was in a news conference that was basically threatening black people.
Hurry up.
What is this?
Hey, y'all better get.
I think Maze is trying to say in the west suburbs there was some kind of influence going on.
Hey man, I'm just saying. I think if I was listening to somebody, like if I really wanted an opinion, I think I'm gonna listen to the ones in the west suburbs, right? They have the most consequence, would be my guess.
I understand.
you exactly. I'm cluing y'all in here. Finally, you just see the story about B. Rashid Mitchell killed defending his sister. He was 22 years old. His sister was in a physical altercation with her boyfriend. He intervened. The boyfriend shot him. Mm. I got so much wrapped up in that I'm not going to even go down the path. But the last thing I want to point out to you
sounds like life in prison for me.
Right, but man,
hey. If
you make it. Last one. Have you all been paying attention to the digital billboards around the city of Chicago?
No, what's going on?
Notice that the black U.S. Surgeon General is flashing everywhere. Like I was driving, I swear I saw the black.
You mean
Trump?
Her face?
Him.
Oh, his face. Oh, yeah, I know him.
He's
right.
We talked to him.
Yeah,
he's everywhere. Pay attention. I think Trump is flooding the market. It's a lot of stuff going on. You got the feds here. Now you see the billboards, the advertising campaign.
It's a takeover.
It's a takeover. We're gonna be back after these messages. Hey, okay, Google, can you tell me what the weather is in Chicago? Look, we're gonna see. We kind of fancy. Let's see if she'll tell us. Maybe she will. Okay, well, we'll talk about it when we come back. Dang, Google, you played me, bogus.
Yeah. Don't you know?
All right. So, had some very interesting conversations. Social media question of the day. So I've been polling black legislators. Black legislators are sticking with Madigan, are not sticking.
They're scared.
Yes. However, many of them predict that he will not make it to be re-voted in as speaker.
I think the odds are dropping like a rock.
What I am hearing is that right now the only thing saving him is the Black Caucus. Like, I have heard that the white women are now...
They're all off the boat.
They're all... Like, it's really... Now, the challenge is, and we're going to talk about this, if nobody black moves... So here's me. This is what I'm counting 44 Republican votes. I think a lot of black people are only counting what I'm concerned is somebody white is going to take advantage of the opportunity that Republicans present.
I don't think the Republicans would do that. I mean, it's just my guess. They would only do that for either a black or a Latino.
Okay. So
I could be wrong.
I think that it would be worth it. If you are complete, like if I feel like this, if I'm the Republican, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Mm-hmm. It's like if I can move Madigan, I can move Kelly Cassidy. I can move any white person. I'm in the mix because now whoever's in play is trying to put a number together.
They cannot vote for Kelly Cassidy.
Okay, I got you.
Not any real numbers.
I'm saying, okay, so here's what I'm saying. Right now I'm concerned that somebody white is going to take the lead on saying, okay, 44 Republican votes, we put together this coalition of white women down south, downstate, whatever, and we're not in the mix.
I think if that's the case, if it's going to be a white person, it'd be somebody downstate.
It'd be like Jay Hoffman. Jay Hoffman is angling, but here's the thing. Everybody else expects that it's supposed to be a black speaker. We're the only people who don't.
People who don't think it's
right. Everybody else is like, y'all got this, right?
Who would be the black speaker?
I don't know.
We don't know.
I don't care really.
Who
would you see being the black speaker based on?
I would have.
Who would I choose?
I would have seen. Okay, so Will Davis wants it, right? Like Will Davis could probably taste it. I don't know if he has. I don't know if he has a temperament for it, right? It's just like I don't know if he has a temperament. I think the other challenge is the young guys. A lot of old people have been dissing the young guys. So, like, they did the whole seniority. So now when you're trying to put your piece together, you done kick the young guys. Like, you don't know what you're talking about, so sit over there and shut up. So they be like, okay. Right. So we'll talk about it on air. But the crazy part is right now, like, the black folks are betting now that he won't make it. But I'm concerned that if we don't plunge a knife, then we're not going to be in consideration for the speakership. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if I'm even anymore fighting for black people to be in positions of power because I'm not really seeing the benefit of it. I almost feel like it's better now to just have a small part that decides. Like I almost feel like I'd rather live in a white district with a pocket of black people that could swing the vote, and then he's got to cater to you as compared to.
Look, I've seen that in real life. That never works.
Well, it don't work for black people.
What
either.
they do is they're like, man, we can't lose these white folks, and
and that's the same thing the black people do. Same thing the black people do. So
I want a black person. I want a guy on my block who. I can say, man, I need some come up.
You got one.
That's what I'm
Don't
saying.
you got
one? I want that one.
Don't you got one?
I got one.
You got one on your block though, right?
That's right.
You got your comeuppance?
No, I want him to be the speaker so I can get my comeuppance.
Not if here's the other part. I'm concerned that the speaker will pick the black speaker. Right?
And so he'll still have all the power.
So he will still. I'm concerned that the speaker will pick
oftentimes happen with a black person.
And they will pick, and they will right now start pushing the chips towards their bet, right? And then they say to their people, look, stick with him, put your, like if I'm labor, right? I'm not looking for somebody that I think is going to be iron-fisted. I'm looking for somebody that I think is pliable, right? I don't want anybody, and so the biggest player in this is going to be labor. I'm ready.
Go high, go high.
You are listening to What's in it for the Black People Radio live on WBGX 1570 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger, Jasmine Turner sitting in with us, and Miss Sonia Escobar on the Wheels of Steel. Look, y'all, Jasmine, this is where I'm going to get ready to get the camera focused on you. Because these are the conversations. Okay. These are the conversations right here. Look. Todd already telling on us. Look, he telling on us now. He on the wake up. He doing the wake up test. He's like, they about to start. Maze is Maze. All right, so check this out. Social media question of the day. Let me back up. I'm gonna set it up. I was telling you all before I left when we were on the break. I have been doing my own poll of black state representatives who will still talk to me. The ones that will still talk to me. You'd be surprised at the ones that will talk to me, though. They just don't want to do it.
They don't know you. Those are the ones that don't know you well?
No, those are the ones that want to be like they want to be a side chick.
Thank you, Sonia.
They want to be like, haha. They want to be like,
well, I mean, maybe it's a good thing that they, are playing the other side, making them think that they don't know you that well, when in reality they're coming over here. So maybe it's a good thing. Sometimes you have to do that.
Spook that side beside the door. I get the concept. Sometimes it's like, but I don't trip. So what I am hearing is that the only reason Speaker Madigan is still the Speaker of the House is because of the Black Caucus. It is now pretty much well known that the white women have orchestrated a whole tumble down. It's like a drip, 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 drip. Like, when Rich Miller is sending out the update at 4:30 in the morning, right? That means that they trying to beat the press so that everybody can say. So, the last time we talked over the weekend, I was goading the Black Caucus to speak up, to say something, to put pressure on the speaker.
Right.
Even if you don't vote him out, force his hand. Make him do something. Make him call a special session for black people. I would be bending him over every tree stump. He would be doing everything he could to cater to black people. Y'all be like, it's a new Capitol project and another one. And they just built Reed Dusable and they opened up every school in the South Side. And I would be making them work. I would be having them tap dance. But
they just granted $5 million to Chicago State for the research.
And they gave the Maze Jackson Show $50 million to build their own platform. Right? I'd be like, now. But the Insider publication, the Capitol Facts, was pretty adamant this past weekend saying that the speaker he has been so good to the Black Caucus. He has always defended them. He has always helped them that they would not.
That's because he's no
Has
fool.
he? I mean, did he?
What's your neighborhood look like? Okay. So Chicago State, more Irish contractors at Chicago State than it is black. Like I told you, when I lost my whole everything was when I saw that Chicago State from 2014 that did a disparity study. We looked at the disparity study. They did Chicago State. Chicago State, blackest university in the city, in the state of Illinois. That you go to any other college town, the university is the economic lifeblood of that community. Right. Chicago State had an $81 million operating budget. How much money do you think they spent with black people?
I think I remember you saying it's like less than 20% or something.
No.
No, it's much smaller than that.
It was $320,000 out of $80 million. Then remember I brought you the parking receipts and I showed you how at the United Center where parking was $50, they had a one color black and white receipt on cheap recycled paper.
Oh, right.
And then Chicago State, they had a 4-color like badge that you hung with a die cut. They were overpaying for and their parking was $5 and the printing of the pass cost $4.99.
Man, you can't make any money like that.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you can. If you the rich,
I'm at the university. You making 5 cents?
But that's because we were the playground for white, Irish people, et cetera, et cetera. So, and Jasmine, you bring up a good point. You're like, well, has he? And I think like there's all these black elected officials that are like, the speaker's been good to us. We owe him. No, fools.
He answers your call, but you are his constituent. He's supposed to answer you.
That's my point. Like that. So here's the thing. What happens is we've now become confused. Like we owe him. So when y'all read all of the stuff that we read, there were only 2 black people mentioned in the whole joint. 2. Right? Black people were completely left out. None of they lobbyists, none of they people, nothing about the ComEd, millions and millions of dollars that went to everybody included black people.
Right.
But they voted for it. So what they did was they voted to make white people rich millionaires. Right? Again and 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 again. Now, the challenge is, what do they really owe him? Right? So what he tries to do is do you the ultimate favor, like when it's a personal issue, but he wants to do it so that he could use it when, as we saw with Ken Duncan, right? I'm going to help you. We won't ever mention this. And then when you need to body slam somebody, you mention it and you twist it, you warp it. So let me back up. So in talking to this poll of black elected officials, it's starting to get to the point where the handwriting is on the wall like he's not going to make it. Right? I was talking to black elected officials and I was like, hi, this is I was practicing for for January. I was like, this is Mays Jackson and I'm calling and I want to know, will you be voting for the re-election of Speaker Mike Madigan? Because I was going to be like, that's what we're going to ask everybody.
Right, hold him accountable.
Black folks was like, the people I was talking to, I don't know if he's going to make it till that. Right? They're like, I don't know if he's going to make it to that. So I'm like, well, what y'all doing?
That is a long way away now.
What are they doing?
Talking about it. Now, social media question of the day. Should the Black Caucus save Speaker Madigan? J.B. Pritzker has already called for an explanation. White women are like, resign now. They ain't even... right. They like... resign now. The Black Caucus, silent. Not even we have questions. Right? Not even we got questions. Not even, you know what they put in the publication was that black people, their constituents could care less about Mike Madigan. We are more focused on defeating Trump. And you see this fool keep coming back talking about Donald Trump. Mike Madigan is telling us that we need him to lead us to victory against Donald Trump, and he ain't resigning. Now,
you know the old saying, you have to strike when the iron is hot.
So, the iron is hot in the mug. It's penny hot. You don't get that, right? Good times. Good times. Penny hot. See how
Oh!
Now that was before my time.
It's penny hot. That's because
That's awful. That's right.
Should the Black Caucus save Speaker Mike Madigan?
Do they have some other plan? Like,
well, there's the question.
Do they have another plan? So, I think the answer to that question depends on what they are trying to do themselves. Like, if you have another plan that is beneficial to the black community, then of course not. But if you don't have any other plan, then what are they going to do? Do what they've always done.
Okay.
You got to get your personal plan out of this, and there has to be a group plan for power. I mean, yes, they probably have, through the years, called the speaker and said, my nephew, my daughter, my whatever, and he's been like, I can do that.
Right, but it's cheap. It's a cheap buy.
It's a cheap buy.
Right.
Right.
I get you a job for $40,000 a year, and I need your vote for the next 60 years so I can make all my friends rich 1,000,000 times over. All right, look, Sonia gave me the sign, which means we got to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to continue this conversation. Check this out, y'all. Speaker Mike Madigan's fate is literally in the hands of the Black Caucus. So here's my question. Should they save Speaker Madigan? If they let him live, why should they let him live? If they kill him, why? They've already paid him with their votes and their undying loyalty. All of his friends and family are rich. So even when you do him, it's not like, here's what black people thinking. Man, if I lose my job, I ain't gonna get nothing. I ain't gonna have nothing. Yeah. That fool is about to go be like, I'm going to live at my home in Palm Beach, and I'll talk to y'all when the feds come. Right. Look, this is the Mays Jackson Show. We'll be back.
And come talk to y'all when the feds come.
I'm Dr. William Wilson, and I'm running for U.S. Senate for the state of Illinois. I would never
they need somebody with guts.
It does take a lot of guts.
An economic opportunity for all. I want to get
like what's the 4 girls in the Senate, the squad.
And I want to serve
Yeah.
every man.
They need some like one thing about them, as annoying as it can be on certain cases, they ain't scared. You know.
Nope.
All right, what y'all talking about on Facebook? Oh, it won't show me the old comments. Maybe that's a good thing.
Wow. Here we are face to face with the memories that can't be erased. All we need each other. Things have changed. It's not the same. Sometimes it makes me wonder, where would I be if you had 2:01 before 7 o'clock inside of me was something that we could compare. Well, I never meant to cause you no pain. I just want to go back to being the same. Well, I only want to make things right before you walk out my life. Remembering the good times of fortune and fair.
No, you just change that old song.
You are listening to What's in It for the Black People Radio live on WBGX 1570 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger, and sitting in with us is Miss Jasmine Turner. All right, y'all. Give us a call. 773-446-9670. 9670. We're testing out new phone lines, so y'all give us a call. Todd, I know this is a tough subject, man. I know that's your man's. I know y'all homies. I know y'all go way back.
No, we're not that close. If we were that close, I wouldn't be sitting with you.
Oh, you know, see how they do you. Look, and he called. Look,
Todd, you ain't scared? Just let him know you ain't scared.
No, I ain't scared.
So, Todd, think about this though. Like right now, the fate of the most powerful man in Illinois. Can we agree with that?
I'll agree with that.
Okay, the most powerful man in Illinois is it's like you know like when you watch the cartoons and they got their fingers and they holding on and you just like now Todd, you know what the answer would be if it was me. I would have a hammer and I would bang that hand so hard I would be talking about it. I'd be like, you ready for this? So
is the Black Caucus just like that unaware, or are they just that afraid? Like, why isn't this an easier solution, I guess?
Because I really think that they have seen bodies splayed across, they've seen campaign people splayed across Ken Duncan is Ken
Duncan
is not.
React.
What the problem as I see it is they do not understand their power in their space. So that's where fear comes in.
That's my point. That's all of my point.
They're fearful.
But that's my point. Like my point is they don't recognize their collective power. Like I feel like they don't recognize that they can say yes or no.
I think they also don't recognize that the larger group, they see them as a powerful force. They see light emanating from them, but they don't see it.
Right. So
if you talk to Republicans, they'd be like, "Yeah, that Black Caucus is something to look at."
You know who was something to look at? This is a quick switch of the subject. The Latino caucus, the letter they sent to Mayor Lightfoot.
Don't switch the subject. We're gonna say
That's 'cause
that.
it's
Don't
coming up.
switch.
No,
We're gonna come to that.
Okay,
It's that we're
okay.
gonna come to that. We're gonna work that into
It
the
just
whole
came up, like,
conversation.
in
But that's the
regards
whole. Well, that's the reality of all. That's how we got kicked out of cannabis, right? It's like every single time there is a time for a power play, they bend the knee. They
Right.
never stand like they always bet on the white ice, right? That's that, and it is reliable white
I am
ice.
pretty thirsty. You want to go up north after the show?
I think we should, man. I'm telling you, that water tastes much better.
Honestly, with the whole cannabis thing.
Do y'all remember Ken Duncan coming in here and saying, "No, you get comfy"? Like, I'm gonna tell you, when you go to, I'm gonna tell you, I swear to God, it has to be. Once you get used to it, it has to be the best existence ever. Think about this.
Oh, I can tell you.
You,
How so?
It is. Because here, you come up here, for most people don't know who you are. They don't really know what you're doing. They're like, hey, how was Washington? Washington was great. You go downstate, Representative, how are you? Let me get this chair for you. Oh, yeah.
right? It's like our preachers and politicians are treated like royalty.
So they're just happy to be in the room. They don't want to sit at the table.
They have a false sense of power. Like, here's the thing. In Springfield, like, you, even if you ain't powerful, they let you act like you're powerful, right? So all these lobbyists and all
That's
these,
because everybody is powerful. Because there's only, in the House, there's only 118 of you.
exactly. However, the lobbyists are more powerful in actual execution. Like that magic lobbyist list, any of those 20 people are probably more powerful in their mind than their legislators, right? If Mike McClain came to you, right, you gonna be like whatever you say, sir. For the not you, obviously.
I
not
was
you.
in a different space.
Todd, because Todd he had a black channel, right? Like
I had a hammer.
he had a hammer, and they had jobs, and they had other people's livelihoods, so they could talk. Here's the thing. I told you like this. What the speaker does is make it comfortable for you to exist. He makes sure you don't have a candidate, so he'll send Mike Casper and all their guys to beat you off the ballot. They'll do everything to make sure that there are no black challengers so that they can have your undying loyalty. Then what they say is they control the money, the power, and all of the process. So the second that you don't agree, then this whole group of people, which is everybody in the state,
They attack you because ultimately, if you hurt him, you're hurting them. So
And
what he does is pulls everybody on his team,
Mhm.
so that they feel like unified. They have to stay together.
but he gives them peanuts.
Yeah.
Like the challenge for me is
Like
like
when you don't eat, peanuts are
I
kinda
agree.
good.
However, if you knew that you could be feeding people steak. If you just said I want steak, they'd be like, oh, how they even know it was steak around? We've been trying to keep these Negroes from knowing it was some steak,
Yeah.
right? And so now here's the challenge. If they don't kill him, we have to ask ourselves why. Because at this point it has to be personal. Like Todd said, it's not the collective good, because collectively there's nothing we can. I'm not saying there's nothing we can say, but we all agree that the black community is last in all 16 economic indicators.
Right.
So whatever is happening in Illinois is not working.
Right.
And I'm sure it's in that 48 rules of power.
48 laws.
48 laws. Unfortunately, mine got wet, so I couldn't open the pages to read it. But you don't want to be on the losing side.
You don't want to be on the losing side, but then if you can count, then you understand that 70 is greater than 60.
Is it possible that they are down there making demands and we're just not aware of it? Is it possible?
They do work. Don't get me wrong.
No,
Yeah, I don't think
like,
they don't. No,
taking advantage of what's going on right now. Like, look,
let me tell you.
you need us, and in order for us to vote for you or to hold you down while everybody's letting you go, we need this, and this. It seems like a very easy conversation to have.
Not when you scared of them, you having a conversation with.
But I mean, he has to understand where he's at right now, and
They
that he needs the black people.
He understands it. They gotta understand it. That's the issue. And I'm telling you, if you haven't,
You have to have a plan, just like you said, though.
yeah, I agree with that. But if you haven't exercised power,
Before you don't know how to.
and especially, can I tell you something? What I
How
find
these
is
people
that
get in office though? If they
What?
can't really.
you don't, because first of
do
all, most
this.
of them got picked. Most of them were appointed.
Okay.
So they usurp the process. And then once they get picked and usurp the process, then they don't get no competition.
But it's hard to do things when you don't know what's actually out there. So, I mean, even the speaker, when I go and ask the speaker for something, sometimes he'll be like, I'll get back. Because state's so huge, he didn't even know what the heck was going on over there.
So, again, if they let him live, did we get a special session?
It's on us to hold them accountable, though. Like, if they let him live and they hold him down, then we need to be able to specifically see what they are doing for our communities as a result.
So they have to tell us.
And we know it's a short-lived life. I don't care if he survives this next one. You know, it'll be the last one.
I'm with you. So what's
there's
the
really
game
nothing in it for them then. If they make this deal now, it's short.
There's nothing to fear but fear itself, but fear is a mug. We'll be back after these messages. So, like, realistically, you're asking the right questions. The fact of the matter is, like, they got to do one of two things. First of all, they need somebody impenetrable to lead. Like,
right.
They need somebody like...
Who can't lose in their district.
Like, I would do somebody like Mary Flowers. Now...
Do what with her?
Have her lead
the charge.
Lead the charge. Like, after all my life... I done struggled, right? She could get up and do her whole thing. She
won't work because she's too old.
Okay.
Well, when I say too old, I mean she has her relationship with the speaker is different than most of them, and she's been around long. I mean, she's like what, number 3 or something crazy?
Okay, so I'm with you. So they need somebody, either young or old, right? Who ain't scared. They need to say
that more from a younger person.
They say just like Kelly Cassidy said, and that we're giving them the right to say and express their own opinion, and any retaliation against that person, we all taking it personal. Now, at that point, he's now looking for the exit, because one goes, they like, damn, it's gonna be a domino effect. It's happening, and he's gonna know. So now he's got to play in the exit strategy. Like right now, somebody should take the Democratic Party of Illinois from him. Like right now, because the thing that's most important to him is the speaker. So you start cutting off pieces, right? Give me that Democratic Party of Illinois.
Who's what's her name? Tony Craigwinkle's rep.
Who replaced Chris? So it's probably Cam Buckner.
And he should be the one.
What?
You need a black person, but a black person who was in a district.
See, Cam, but that's not her.
They hate her. I mean, they hate Madigan just for being Madigan, and that would be Hyde Park, Kenwood.
Challenge is Preckwinkle is, they got the. So I feel like she's still playing the loyalty game too, and Cam doesn't come from. So here's the other thing: they let all the people. They done let the process get away.
He's not part of her.
He ain't part of nobody. Right?
He's independent.
He just right. Like I'm like. So what you trying to do?
Set it up.
Turn this, and then you can just pull the pole. Twist it. Lefty loosey. Yep. Now turn it.
Okay.
Righty
The
tighty.
cord is.
Now you gotta turn.
This cord is wrapped around it, so it's kind of stuck. You see what I'm saying?
Oh.
Thank you.
Why you change it? Knee.
What?
It must be
That's
raining.
not gout, huh?
No.
It must be raining.
Never give up on inclusion and equality.
How you hurt your knee? You don't like sports.
I don't know. I hope it ain't I hope it ain't a new version.
This is say y'all thinking too much. Black politicians don't think like that. I'm starting to think they don't think at all. Like, but if you're an elected official, you have to have some level of like
If nobody trained you, like
maybe not implementation, but you gotta have some level of like
you come in. Most people don't
desire for power.
Unless you came from an organization and you saw somebody and they ushered you in. You get elected, they bring you to class, you learn the class, and then the white kids usher you through the process, and then you be like, where are we going to dinner tonight? Ain't no hocus pocus. They will all know us. One, put you down. Did y'all see the NBA is using this now?
Oh, really?
You are tuned in to What's in it for the Black People Radio. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd, Stroger. But y'all know how we do at the top of the hour. Got to say what's up to the rest of the team. What's up to Miss Jasmine Turner? She's sitting in with us today. And Tamari, she's still looking at you, Todd, like she's trying to figure out what is going on with the black elected officials. Sonia Escobar, we got her camera working. She is back cracking, crack-a-lacking, pushing buttons and stuff. All right, y'all. Before we get off this subject, did we come to a resolution? I also want to let y'all know if y'all want to give us a call. Okay, I'm going to do it real slow. 773-466-9670. 773-466-9670. Give us a call if you want to talk. Now, we're testing out some phone systems because we're trying to get it rizzat for shizzat.
Hey.
You dig, right? All right. All right,
What
now.
was that? Wait a minute.
For shizzle, my nizzle. Yeah, Snoop Dizzle, Maze Jizzle, for shizzle. All right. What's in it for the Black People Radio, WBGX 1570 AM. You can watch us live on Facebook. Go to the Maze Jackson page, or you can get us on YouTube live as well. Join the conversation. Also want to remind you all that we are accepting your stars. You like what we doing? Send us, click on the little star button. Send us a little. Todd, you can tell your friends that if they want to show you some love, they can buy you a star for only pennies. Penny a star. Send it to you, man. Make you feel good.
I'll call all three of them.
All right, y'all. Before we get off this, though, I do want to know, Black Caucus has the chance to decide Madigan's fate.
I have a choice. It works in a lot of ways, but, and of course, everything's personal, right? So I like Chris Welch in this position. Stronghold in Maywood. He's part of the leadership. If he stands up and says something, then it really means something.
You mean you like him to to be like the head of this conversation, or to lead this,
I'd take him in both if I had to, but.
Let me say this. This is interesting. So I like Chris, and I could easily see Chris as the speaker. I could see him playing the game well. My concern with Chris would be, and I guess my concern is that the all people thing, right? Like, and I know that the speaker's got to be everybody, and he got to be, but like I see. That's me, right? Like I want somebody who's not looking to be fair, right? Like, no, I know it, and I know that
That's
doesn't.
what happens to everyone else, though. It's just crazy when it comes down to like a black person in power. It's like, well, we got to make sure that we're fair.
So I like my.
As you well know, it's all about numbers.
I get you.
So
I mean, and so right now I'm talking emotionally, right? So now I'm talking emotionally. I'm gonna be straight up.
Yeah.
Like I So I think that Chris Welch is probably the easiest and most palatable person that white folks and black folks could see. I think white folks ain't gonna want Chris because he'd be too strong, right? I think they'd be like, damn, he could probably put something together and it'll be iron fisted control within the next. I'm not gonna say iron fisted control. So I think that strong black men intimidate white folks. So let me start there. I also think, like, I want to know that when like that hospital situation that happened where a black dude, Eric, Dr. Whitaker, finally got a chance to be ownership in the hospital group, and then the people whacking him was the black people, right? Now, if it's a white hospital, then they went and reopened the hospital with the federal money from JB and all that good. So here's me. I want to know that the person that we get or that we push is not the convenient stuff, the hard stuff. When it's hard and black folks need you, will you stand up? So I'm not saying that that's not Chris. I'm saying I want an example. Like, I want to know, like, when we have a challenge and we can go to you and you ain't going to tell us why it can't get done, you going to say, man, I'm going to bang some heads to help the black people.
Do you have an example of a black politician that has done this?
The best example I have, and people are going to jump on me, is Alderman Burnett, right? Like, Alderman Burnett, I mean, people, so, like, take the rhyme stuff out. I would tell you that if you look at black business, and that's really where I look, right? Like, that, like, I leave all the, with
the cannabis thing, when they voted, what did he vote?
Oh, he voted with the rest of the black caucus.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but I would say that if you were to look at the number of black businesses, I would tell you that if you go and look, hold on. If you were to go look at what he really controlled, what he used to be in control of, was those towers and those businesses, and how many black people, when you go down Randolph, when you go down all of those locations, how many black people are working, not only, and how many black businesses in that incubator have gone on to own and be partners in construction. So I think that's what I've seen. I think he used his leverage there. I think he lost, real talk, I think they all lost trying to be on the mayor's team. Right? And I think that this, even in that, the instinct in the cannabis thing was that the mayor promised them that she was going to go work hard to get it. Right? And so let's not forget that component. Now, I'm saying, I've always said a scorpion is a scorpion. Right? If she ain't got no tangibles, I think
you can pet it and feed it,
and it still will bite you.
And I'll be honest, I don't know his whole record. That specific, like, let's do this whole argument and do this whole, here's why this is wrong, and then vote against what you just said. To me, as a person that applied for a dispensary, I'm like, what's going on here?
I would say that what he voted on didn't have anything to do with your dispensary, though. Those were the existing 11 licenses. Now, what we need to talk about, and I think where the reality is everybody's looking to shift blame. The fact of the matter was they wrote laws. They wrote the law. Everybody started at zero. There was a blank sheet of paper. And however that blank sheet of paper wound up, it wound up with 0 acres.
0.
Cero. Let me do it right for you. 0, zip, zilcho, cero. I don't care what you call it. And I'm suggesting to you that what happened with with the aldermen in the city of Chicago was they was playing cleanup. Now, again, the mayor's leveraging a few things right now. And I keep trying to help them understand that ain't going to change neither. They worried about their reelection, their maps, right? Because the mayor has the final sign-off on the map. But unless they realize that they got the final sign-off on the mayor, right? On anything that she wants to do. It's all about changing the mindset of the power dynamic in general. Everybody black has been taught to be on the team.
I was going to say, that's just a general thing for the black community. We have to change our mindset on power in general. Not just politicians, but from the big man to the little man.
100%. I think because, again, I don't know. The only reason that I'm probably not still an active partner in the party and continuing to do was because I went to Springfield and it was like I actually saw, like, dang.
This is how they really get.
This how, like, I'm telling you, I would tell you that 80% of the people that are even aldermen, etc., they've only been down Springfield for their one-day lobby day, right? Where they go in and they say what's up and they hang out. Nobody really gets the whole lobbying behind the scenes, and it's like inside baseball, and it's almost like when I saw that Rich Miller come out and the black elected official said nobody black cares about Speaker Mike Madigan, and it's like, you know what, and it's like you have no clue the person jacking you, right? And I'm not saying that has our minds so fearful that we won't even question. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. I don't know how, and I don't know how, with a blank piece of paper, blank,
how it came out to be what it was.
A blank piece of paper, and you know that black people have nothing. You are writing the law. We applauded you. You went to Wall Street. You went to everything. And at the end of the day, there was 0 for black people. And then every month they put in the paper how it was record. And now what? Let me tell you what's happening now. The elected officials, the black elected officials, are in their feelings because we tried. No, well, you a try and a fail. I'm not hearing that nothing beats a try but a fail, right? A fail, whatever, a fail but not a try. However that goes.
We got you.
Exactly. We have 0, and so now, and do you think that any of Mike Madigan's associates made money off of cannabis? Just do you think anybody?
Of course.
I'm guessing yes.
Do you think that
I wouldn't be surprised if some of these black politicians didn't get a little bit of here and there.
I'm gonna tell you what.
You would be surprised.
Can I tell you something, Jasmine? I think that's part of what ticks me off so much.
That they did.
That they don't get none.
There's no way they can be that.
Okay, yeah, it is.
Because
what they got was Toy's position.
Yes.
Was there anything else?
They got Toy's position
as a czar.
Yeah.
Which is now being.
It's pretty huge for her.
It was salary wise, not power wise, because that is still controlled by Christian, right? And if you are in control of cannabis,
yeah, but it doesn't matter. And I mean, it may matter for the time she's there, but this state is the 5th largest state in the nation.
And right, the fifth largest state in the nation with the most black elected officials, and zero.
I don't think we understand exactly what's going on.
Exactly. So let's do this. Let's go to traffic and weather, to our break, and then when we come back, we're going to continue the conversation. See, this is where I need to zoom in on the cameras. We'll be back. So.
I'm hungry. It has nothing to do with anything.
You're just hungry.
I'm hungry.
So. I would be honest with you. Can I tell you something?
Sure, of course.
They just found out that they wrote themselves out of ever being able to be participants in cannabis.
Who's that?
The black elected officials.
You mean any elected officials? But yeah.
So
check this out.
When the bill was first written, Chicago Normal, I will give this to them. They called it out then. They couldn't get none of the elected officials to come and say, here's the problem with the bill. This was the problem with the bill. If you hire 50% of social equity applicants, then you are just as equal to the person who actually lived and grew up in the community. All you got to do is say there's no level of accountability. All you have to do in your application is say that in your plan, you're going to hire 50% or like 51% of your employees and your team can be social equity applicants. That's just the same as Andre, who served time for marijuana. They're going to get the same amount of points.
Yeah.
So the white boy who
moved into Humboldt Park and is now...
He ain't got to live in Humboldt Park. He can live in the Gold Coast. All he got to do is say, I'm going to hire people.
So there's more holes in this than
that is the biggest hole. That's the problem.
But here's the thing. So this is where I have the problem, right?
They wrote themselves out of the bill for sure. And
they wrote themselves and their family members out of the bill. Get them away from me. It's like it's throwing me off a little bit. So now here's what we got. And this is where my challenge with Chicago Normal and I how do I put this? So first of all, Normal, Illinois, was always an entity in Springfield. They always had a presence. I used to be like, I want to volunteer lobby for you, right? Then there became this thing called Chicago Normal, right? And Chicago Normal, in my estimation, and I'm not saying this is how it happened, but as a lobbyist in Springfield, I never heard of Chicago Normal. I always saw Normal.
What is Normal?
National Organization for the Legalization of Recreational, marijuana. Normal,
okay.
The group, right? There was the National Organization for years.
I'm not sure if they were there when I was there.
Okay, I bet they were. I mean, it's been since I was in college. Like, they're just an entity that is nationwide. It's been a weed advocacy forever. So then I start to, like,
we weren't thinking about marijuana when I was there.
No, you weren't. You weren't.
I'm pretty sure the group wasn't.
Okay, I'm telling you, black people were smoking marijuana when you was in.
Black people always been smoking marijuana. So have white people.
So he's throwing me off of my point.
But that has nothing to do with the state.
Okay, got it. That's not on that right now.
Yeah.
So now, because we need to start having this, the black part of this is coming to the forefront. It now starts to morph into, I start to see more black people. Like, I used to go to Normal meetings in Chicago, and it was like mostly white people. Then I saw the Chicago Normal, which kind of stepped into the gap of the black face.
I hear you.
Okay.
I don't know how big. Well, I know they were down there. I don't know how big of a presence was. You know Springfield. I really don't know Springfield, right?
No, there was like two guys, and they were like, well, go ahead.
Keanu and them, because before they got to Chicago Normal, they were part of a group years ago. This is how I first learned about them. Called I think it was the Women Grow or something like that. So
I think I heard of that.
They ran that group. The black, I mean not the black version. It was most, because I went to one meeting at Blue. It was white women and then them. They left that, and then somewhere in between got to Chicago Normal. But they raised the flag and said this part of the bill is a loophole. That's why we have the problem that we have right now.
I'm not debating that.
Yeah.
So that's why when you say that there's the loophole and then people walk through it, you can't be like, yes, let me stand behind.
That's why we don't have our license. This is my theory. This is why we don't have our license. Because you created this loophole, and now this loophole has given, because a company can apply for 10, right? And there's only 75 that's given out. So you created this loophole that gives the opportunity for this company that can hire the best consultants in the world. And their 10 applications are the best. And so now what happens is you got a bunch of dispensaries where it's white people saying they're going to hire black people versus black owners.
So, but this is my point. We can't greenlight that shit. If you see it, you can't, like, there was no win for us in the bill. So standing the fuck up there being like, yes, all right, this is the best thing, and everybody clapping, it's like, yeah, I'm going to give you a little piece. I'm going to give you a little opportunity to do something, because
well, see, when you're an elected official, this is what I've learned. You have to have some trusted people who are going to be your experts and whispering in your ear.
I'm with you on that.
If you don't have that, you end up doing stuff like this.
They didn't think it was going to be black people with enough money to go to put up. That's what I believe.
Todd, remember when I told you, Todd, when I said lobby day, remember when I told you, if you're doing lobby days,
oh right,
right, you ain't in the game.
No,
you're not in the game.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, are a pawn in the game.
Yeah.
If you on a bus and you ain't got somebody that's sitting down there every day, 2 days, working your strategy, saying, yo, blah 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 blah, right? And if you are on the bus, right, you are a part of the theater.
Yeah.
Unless it's your actual bill. Now, if you're the sponsor, then you're going there and you're bringing your constituents. And I'm saying who was the point person for the black? Who was the black? And Ron, and quite frankly, Ron and Kareem got some fucking accountability.
I don't know what role they played on.
I'm saying, like,
but what I also think I see, and I could be wrong, is sometimes the black elected officials, more than I see white people, they don't want to hear from the guy who may get rich, the black guy, because they feel like,
they don't really want black people to be rich. I'm just telling you. They Like, they like, then this nigga gonna be better than me, instead of saying this nigga will help me.
No one will ever be better than me except for you, Jack. Ooh. Do it again.
The rain. You are listening to What's in It for the Black People Radio live on WBGX 1570 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger, Miss Jasmine Turner sitting in with us, as well as Sonia Escobar on the wheels of steel, getting it in. Hey, y'all. We kind of jumped around a little bit there. I still don't know if we decided out of black. Is it, like, what's the movie when it's thumbs up or thumbs down, you gonna die? Thumbs up or thumbs down for Madigan?
Thumbs down.
Todd, thumbs up or thumbs down?
It's time for him to move on.
Whoa! Uh-oh. Record that.
Todd turned on his boy.
Right, look. No. Look. Say it with your chest.
For some reason, Maze thinks that we're related and married or something. But no. I just like the guy when we speak, when we talk. But that has nothing to do with power.
Okay. Oh, God. Oh, y'all is a fool. Y'all is a fool. We need a study. Look, what would you do if the Black Caucus came out with a study? We're going to study this. You know what? They should poll the black community. Can I tell you what I think?
I wouldn't be against that if they could say, and we're going to use $100 million.
Can I tell you what I think was most offensive to me?
What?
I really think reading Rich Miller talking about how great the speaker was to black people and how he's been our ally for all of these years. And that,
what does that mean?
And that he stood by the Black Caucus and watched us fall off the cliff. That really cooks. Remember we was reading the indictment and they was talking about how they wanted to have the black guys control me.
Yeah.
And then they were like, it's not working. And then they were like, what have we done for black people? Remember?
Right. They were like, let's look at our list. What have we done for black folks?
Yeah.
That was in an indictment?
It was in a subpoena. Yeah, it was listed in the subpoena. It was like, this Maze Jackson, get a hold on them. And they was like, we got these guys working on him, but apparently they're not able to control him. So could you
Did they say
us
the guys that were working on you? Black people? Did you
I know
the names out?
Yeah, I did. I know. I mean, I'm saying like it's. But here's the thing: the black guys was like, we knew we couldn't control you. Like, what we gonna say, right? And so they was like, honestly, they like, man. Like I always tell people, leverage me. I always say it all the time. Leverage. I know I'm saying leverage me, but bring me something back. Right, but leverage me. Right. Here's the thing. I'm
ads on what's in it for the black people.
That's what I'm saying. So, and I'm suggesting that I recognize that I turn up a lot of dirt, and a lot of people want to be like, I don't know nothing about that.
But you're playing the same game that Madigan is playing, right? Like, you're understanding, like, you're using your power, which is social media and access to your audience, to help the community the same way that Madigan is using his power to help his community.
Except he got money with his. I just be like, could we please help the black people, please? And then the black people,
$34 billion at his disposal.
Think about that. And these fools are still sending him money. $34 million. They're paying for his legal defense. Think about this.
Democratic Party or
no, all of his donors, because he's made them all rich. See, this is what black people don't understand. They like, why is they still giving them money? Because they still getting rich.
Yeah.
They gonna try and they riding that boat all the way to the end. Now again, $34 million. And can I tell you what the black people voted to do?
What?
Make him responsible for the $34 million.
For all,
right? They voted. Think about this. They voted.
We call that ethics.
Right, ethics. The speaker could give out the money, but you can't. So what the black elected officials did was they voted themselves. You can't write them a check more than $1,000. You can write a check to the speaker for as much as you want, and he can give it to you as much as he wants. right? And then see, like, you vote for your own. We have our demise has been legislated by us. We've participated. Okay.
We allow
Liberals can't stand them.
No. Liberal Democrats. Sure.
It's funny though, because black people think they're liberals.
No, they
You're
convince
not liberals.
black
Can I tell you
people
what's
to-
happening now too? Because I want to tell y'all, and I think you got to pay attention to this. There are going to be a lot of butthurt black people that are going to go on the attack. Right? I'm gonna just tell you,
Attack on who?
your hate level is gonna go up today. It's gonna be social media. Todd, they not gonna say nothing to you. I'm just letting you know, because here's what happens. Here's what happens. No, everybody know Todd. They be like, oh, don't worry about Todd.
Right.
So let me tell you what's happening. So I need for y'all to understand that even as the ship is sinking,
the ship be
They
sinking.
still gonna try to hold on.
there are Negroes auditioning to get into spots that they never would have had in real life. So now what you got is Madigan reaching out to a bunch of black people. We got,
promises.
Well, not even just making promises. There's money moving. We gotta watch. We gotta watch where these cannabis funds are going. You know how they're giving the money away, and they got the big fund for all the money to distribute. Pay attention to where that money goes, because my bet is you're gonna start seeing it getting distributed to black organizations who will then start to fortify the Madigan thing in the streets. I'm just telling y'all, right now, this black people about to start getting paid, because he getting ready to pay all of the people who.
This is why I am pro young black candidates in office, because like them or not, they ain't scared.
But the problem is the challenge, and I'm not even like, I'm gonna be honest with you, and we're gonna talk about this a little bit later too. I am concerned that maybe we may be missing the boat as older people. I'm concerned that we are teaching our children to conform, or that we've taught our children that white is right. Even as we're talking smack, we've taught our children that white is right, or to succeed, you gotta be more like white people. Right? Or you got to stay away from certain things. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. Two things I do want to hit, and we're going to come back to them. The future of Chicago. Before this pandemic, the city of Chicago was slowing down, right? Developers were moving out of the city. Like the boom in construction, especially in new construction, was starting to slow down, and people were investing in other markets because they were saying that the advocacy groups were starting to take over. Like the socialists were starting to make it difficult to do work in the city of Chicago. Now, with this COVID-19 and that slowdown, and nobody really with the financial background, what is the future of Chicago? Like, are we going to still keep growing when we come out of this pandemic? They talk about a quarter of the restaurants being gone. They talk about how many businesses will not return. I'm curious to know, what do we think will happen to Chicago? People are moving to the suburbs. They said that the growth trend to building and people moving in has reversed, and people are starting to leave and go back. I'm going to talk about the future of Chicago. And then, also, did you know Mayor Lori Lightfoot's head of security wrote the plan for the National Guard to come here? Have we been hoodwinked, bamboozled?
You say the National Guard?
I mean, to bring the feds in.
No.
He authored a plan with Bob Milan. Remember him?
Smiling Bob.
Dick Devine's right-hand man.
I remember.
They were going to create zones in the city of Chicago where black people couldn't move and be controlled. Is that happening now? Let's talk about it when we come back.
Wow.
That's the running man.
Yeah.
Lollipop.
Black ass lollipops. All right. Y'all go ahead. So part of your job, Jasmine, where's your phone? You're supposed to read the social media comments and talk to the people in the breaks. That's what the millennial does, because you can keep up.
Oh, that's what the millennials are.
That's because you can read.
Fast.
For some reason, my phone is on. Well, probably because it hasn't been on. Maybe. I don't think mine is updated, because I just see the comments from a while ago.
Do you need to be on, what's that thing? Wi-Fi?
No, I don't think that's it. I just logged off and logged back in. People are leaving Chicago, period. All right, let's see what everybody's talking about. Too many secrets of haves and have-nots. We are but a reflection of the colonizers that kidnapped our ancestors. It's their world. Good morning, sis. We should go squats. Look at the cream. That's the one thing. So the way I look at it in regards to what's happening to Chicago. Chicago's the third largest city in this country. Well, was. They can't let Chicago fail. I see it as an opportunity for black folks because a lot of the power is being lost financially because of, these people losing their businesses, some of this expensive real estate they can't afford during COVID and all that stuff. Yeah. I see it as an opportunity for black people to really say, create our 1/3 of the power of the city versus these little pockets that we have here and there. So it's going to be a lot of money coming through this city to try and still make sure Chicago is good.
Did you see the Inside Man?
We have to make sure that we are the ones that are a part of that, though. They're not going to let Chicago fall.
You didn't see the Inside Man? Where you been?
No.
It's a Spike Lee joint. But either way.
When did it come out? 80 what?
No. That was probably, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago.
10 years ago?
Maybe.
The Inside Man?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I feel bad.
I saw it on cable.
Who's in it?
Denzel Washington.
Sorry. 10 years ago, I was how old?
I don't know.
25.
Oh yeah, you old enough to go to the movies by yourself?
Well, I don't.
Well, nobody goes to the movies by themselves.
I do. I go to the movies by myself.
Really?
I love going to the movies by myself. Yeah, like I go during the day. Like go watch a show at 2 or 3. It's been a while, but
who are you going to talk about the movie after it's over with?
I'm in general. Like if I want to do something, I don't.
2006.
2006.
Yeah.
Okay. In general, that's 14 years ago. So I was just getting out of college. So
that's when I watched stuff before I was married. I watched movies like nobody's business.
Yeah.
But either way, the point is, in the movie, Jodie Foster says, when there's blood on the streets, buy real estate. So basically, I'm agreeing with what you're saying.
Yeah.
This is the time to start pulling money and buying things.
But also, there's going to be a lot of like grants and really low interest loans and stuff like that to help these businesses come back. We have to make sure that we are prepared for it. The credit is right, that your history with business is right. Like we have to make sure we're prepared for all of that because there's going to be money being passed around, and they can't have the excuse of no black people applied if we're actually applying. So this is an opportunity for us. That's the way I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
It's an opportunity for us.
I'm still in the thought of if we don't work together, you're never going to get anything.
Yeah.
It's hard being solo.
I like what Audrey said though. Chicago is being pruned for people with money. Skin color won't be the living test. I agree.
I think we passed that point.
It's some black people in Chicago with money though. It's some.
There are some, yeah.
The other part I was gonna say about the cannabis, I know we finished talking about that, was there's still an opportunity for them to get it right with everything else because the cannabis industry is not just dispensaries, it's not just the growing, it's not just the transportation. You got to have somewhere to smoke. There are so many different other ways that you can make money in this industry that they still haven't written down, and they still have an opportunity to get this right.
I think they need to go in and do a rewrite, or I think there needs to be a federal lawsuit to
it's gonna
block
be
the
one
process.
because they're trying to that's the issue. This tiebreaker rule.
Oh well, I mean,
the applications are done. They've scored them. It's this tiebreaker rule that's the issue.
This is where the NAACP is supposed to come in.
Backstabbers!
Low down, dirty.
What they do. You are tuned in to What's in It for the Black People Radio live on 1570 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger. Miss Jasmine Turner sitting in with us, as well as Miss Sonia Escobar, the musical conductor of the Soul Plane. Look, y'all, Jasmine, you said you wanted to, I'm going to let you get one close on the cannabis. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna let you close, and then I'm gonna let you say your thing, and then I'm gonna put a top on it.
My main thing is back to what we were saying is the issue that my theory is this tiebreaker law, because that hole was in there that allows anyone, really, you can live, as long as you live in the state of Illinois, right? You can have been raised in a nice community all your entire life, a wealthy community. All you have to do is say in your plan that you're going to hire 50%, I think it is 50 or 51% of your employees are going to be people that come from social equity communities.
So, Jasmine, let me just ask a question.
Yeah.
How, if we know that white folks build their plan to jack us, how do we allow that to happen? So you said Chicago Normal called it out. I'm going to give you that.
I don't know if it was Chicago Normal specifically, but I know that
it was called out.
That's with that team. It was called out, and they didn't get the support of the elected officials.
Remember I told you about, they didn't get the support of the elected officials because of the lobbyists, right? The lobbyists say this is a bad thing because the person that the elected official is talking to, right? The trusted person that they're talking to is not a black person with our best interests at hand.
So here's my problem. Why are we going after the plan is written and everything's moving forward? Why do this whole show?
What show?
This whole show of they left out the black community. They left out the black community, and that whole thing they did right before the vote. Y'all knew about it. This wasn't something you never heard about before. From what I wasn't there, but from what I have been told from people that were there was, I don't know the specific elected officials, but they were told. So this whole show after the fact is kind of like, who you fooling? I
think that, so I would say that you're right in the standpoint of the black elected officials in Springfield, right? Well, let me back up. Here's what I would say. I think that the Black Caucus appointed 2 people as point people to do the negotiation, that being Jahan Gordon and Toy Hutchinson, right? And usually on issues, the way it works is they designate who are the point people, and any question you got goes to those people, right? So essentially what we have to do is get Toy and Jahan to explain to us what the process was or what the thought was. Now here's the
I would say, what is their level of engagement?
Well, I mean, remember, let's start here. When we first heard about the legalization of cannabis being actual law, we were at the other place. We were on 87th Street, and Heather Staines and Kelly Burke were the 2 people who were explaining to us why this needed to happen. Remember?
Yeah.
And then I was like, if you recall, I actually asked, I was like, why is it 2 white women calling me, telling me about how this is going to benefit the black community? I said this.
Yeah.
And then what we saw was 2 black women then pushed to the forefront of passing it. Equity-wise, they took all the pictures, and the 2 white ladies were in the back. One white lady, her husband took a percentage of the got the bill passed that a percentage of the proceeds would go to the organizations. He's with Chicago Cred. So that's Heather Staines' husband. Then you had Kelly Cassidy's wife then became the vice president of development for a Florida company, so she couldn't practice in Illinois, but she's now a named partner. The 2 black people, one got a job and one was in leadership that, if this would have gone well, to me, would have been well positioned to be the speaker. Now I think this is a challenge. Here's the problem. The problem now is nobody wants to admit that there was something wrong. Like in Springfield, here's what's happening.
They tried to fix it.
So let's back up. What happened was the mayor had a chance to stop it in Chicago.
Right.
She knew it was inequitable. They knew that there were no black licenses. We knew coming out of Springfield after the first wave, after everything happened, there was a problem.
Right.
The mayor then said, and this is where the aldermen have to start grabbing their cojones. The mayor says, we want to open up these dispensaries, but we're going to rope off downtown. We're going to keep those for social equity applicants. Hey, stay tuned. Remember, she did the mysterious...
But social equity applicants...
I got you on.
No race.
Exactly.
Or no group.
Exactly. Again, no people of color type crap. Anyway, so now, the mayor then... So now the Black Caucus is hearing all of the rage. The City Caucus, Black Caucus, is hearing all of the rage from everybody who's now realizing they're left out, and they're saying just don't allow it to open in the city. The mayor says to the aldermen, who are fearful because they think she got the feds, that she kicking everybody butt. Her polls are 90% approval, and she says, remember, she Jason was leading the fight. She castigated Jason, cut him off, basically told him he wasn't, blah, 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 right? Then promised that the next license, the remaining license in Chicago, would go to a black operator. That didn't happen either, right? So part of the reason that everything happened was they were like, we still got one license. If you all chill, we'll get that license for you all. That didn't happen. Then she said, I'll go to Springfield, and I'll change the laws, and we'll make again, talking blustery with no backing, and J.B. Pritzker said to her, we're not going back to look at it. Now, here's what we also know. What we also know is that the operators that we are going to allow to be approved in Illinois have already been accused of minority fraud in other states. JB says they're not going back. You see the KPMG tiebreaker, they said they're not changing it. Now, they tried to change the law. They tried to fix it. State Representative Art Turner and a bunch of Black Caucus members pointed out all the issues that we just talked about, and they had a fix for it down in Springfield. And it was to resolve the tiebreaker. The white boys know the clock and they know the timing, so they stretch it out. So now they got themselves another 90 days of pointing it out, and now so here.
And to add, this one only one part I want to add. Remember, we have another 100 round of licenses going out at the end of the year.
We're supposed to.
But you listen though. You have this process, so and then there's supposed to be like a study and all this stuff. So there's no opportunity to study and fix the old law,
right? Because
it's delayed until at least September.
And they said it's indefinitely.
We're potentially in a situation to where this next 100 round is going to be just as bad because we didn't even get a chance to see whether this worked or not, which we already know it wasn't going to work.
And I'm gonna tell you, it's like what I feel bad about is all the poor black people who took their time and wrote their little applications up and spent their little money, and the white guys can really just put the best teams together. I told you.
Some of these applications, you had to have your real estate already,
and you got to have it tied up, and so now
you're just wasting money,
and they're bleeding. But again, remember when the lobbyist writes the bill, right? He's writing the bill for who? The people that are in the business.
Yeah.
Right? So the cannabis industry has a vested interest in keeping you nakers out.
But this will be how we measure J.B. Pritzker.
No, it won't be.
It'll be how I measure.
Okay, but we ain't no. So just so we're clear, the millennial vote turnout. But that's a whole nother thing.
This will be an issue of. It's a lot of people, specifically black millennials, that are paying attention to this.
The black millennials.
We measure what he said he was going to do for our community.
And y'all didn't measure it from when he said which was the least offensive Negro. Y'all didn't get no sign.
Yeah, no, that was
like did the
but
toilet.
This right here.
Right, the other fake case. Right.
This one right here though, you messing with our money. We're talking millions of dollars,
Y'all ain't had none. You can't miss what you never had. That's what they're gonna say.
But
you got out of jail free. You got out of jail free.
For me, I never,
More people got out for COVID than for cannabis.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm saying, and the people they letting out for COVID is killing mugs, right? Hey y'all, this is the Maze Jackson Show. This cannabis stuff. So I'm gonna tell y'all what. You know why I keep talking about this? Because the casinos.
We have to.
No, because guess what, y'all. I'm gonna let y'all have it. The casinos are coming.
We have to.
Casinos are coming, right? Gambling, gaming, all of that. How many black owners we got? Like, we gonna let the same thing happen again? Are we? I'm gonna tell you, Todd, I got a plan too. I got a plan. Like right now, let me tell you what the gaming industry is like. Whoo, please keep talking. Please keep talking about that weed. So you stay on that weed. They already got the casino. Check this out. They already passed the bill for the casino. Right? Was y'all talking about that at all? No.
Is there any?
So just so I'm just saying.
I feel as a community, we should still have a part of it, 1/3, because that's the representation we have in this city. But as a community, we have been overwhelmingly affected by the war on drugs. Like
I've been overwhelmingly affected by the war on black people having cash. About the war on black people participating in the economic largesse of this state. Right. Do you understand that our people getting rich right now, even as we choke people out? And I just need to point this last thing out. Do y'all see the state is buying more PPE and all that stuff, and they still ain't buying nothing from Willie Wilson? And everybody in this dang gone state is walking around with a Willie Wilson mask on. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the Maze Jackson Show. I still am going to talk about the future of Chicago. Plus, we got to talk about Todd's friend Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein. And like if
Bill Clinton don't care no more. He say whatever he want. He
you know
not
what?
care anymore.
You
he
know
ain't
what?
worried about no Jeffrey Epstein.
Nope.
He don't care.
He's not the president anymore.
Bill Clinton's like, I don't care.
Okay, he ain't see what happened to Bill Clinton. I mean, Bill Cosby, did he?
He ain't Bill Cosby. Bill
We're
Cosby wasn't the president.
about Bill Clinton, William Clinton.
So what happened when they showed the pictures?
See, that's what you forget. Marijuana was a whole different thing in the 90s for adults.
That's not what Dr. Dre said.
Hey
y'all, I was listening to Dr. Dre and Snoop. It's the Maze Jackson Show. Look, and you know what? I'm telling you, I cannot wait for the day that we get Todd some edibles.
You have to sneak it to him. You have like, Todd, you like that?
We're gonna put it. All you got to do is put. We're not gonna sneak, but we are gonna put some food. We're gonna put some food on the table. Now, see, you said sneak. See, you can't sneak. You sneak next thing. Right, but then on top of that, that's like some federal case. Like, right, Bill Cosby. Look, Jasmine Cosby on the air. Look, we'll be back, y'all.
Yeah, didn't I tell you I went to visitation for the last deputy chief? No, he was the chief of patrol.
Who?
I'm turning both of you on. Freddie Wallace.
Oh, I didn't get invited to that. I don't never get no love.
No, it was his father's visitation.
Oh. Fred Waller. He said, I'm not going to put syrup on shit and tell you it's pancakes. That was funny.
Fred used to.
Hey, shout out to. Hold on, let me give me some shout outs because people sending that cash.
Tony says they got the data that shows the disparity.
Man, we done seen all the damn studies. We know they don't. We already know. We live the disparity. All right, hey y'all, take a moment. I want to send a big shout out to the people who sent some stars today. Shout out to the Maze Jackson page for sending me some stars. I hope I'm not paying for my own stars. No, I'm just playing. Shout out to T. Renee. Shout out to Intwa Dumela Douglas. That's my girl Paula. Thank you for your 400 stars. Chess Etc. Shout out to Chess Etc. 235 stars. Stephen Hodo. Shout out to the 200 stars. Dad, Christopher Devine, shout out to the 2,235 stars. I need that in my life. Shout out to Sharon Holman Mayfield with the 500 stars. Brian Thomas, shout out to the 100. V. Beasy, 50 stars, thank you. Veronica Maris, love you, Maze, make us proud. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Veronica Maris. Kenny Cool with the 50, putting a 50 spot down. Shout out to Kathy Wiley with 300 on the table. Shout out to Keith Marcus Hicks. I appreciate that 100. Coach B Thomas. Hey, Coach B, appreciate you. You wrong. You was wrong yesterday, though. Carter G. Woodson is with the Q's. James Weldon Johnson was the Sigma. We wrote, lift every voice and sing. I should have said that. All right. Shout out Zaviola Coleman. You are listening to What's in It for the Black People Radio live on WBGX 1570 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger. He ain't got no headphones on, so he don't even know I'm talking about him. Hey, y'all, look, let's talk about Todd because we don't know. Look, that's how I be feeling like when we go to the meetings and the white people talk. I'm like, we can hear you. Right? Like you go to the meetings, white people be talking about black people, right? You're gonna
They don't care.
They
Just
don't
like
care.
Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton. Did you see what he said at the funeral?
And we gonna talk
No,
about
I
that.
gotta look that up.
Oh man,
it's been all
he
over.
dogged
I don't
Stokely
care.
Carmichael. We're gonna talk about that. Shout out. Let me do this. There's a lot of people sending us stars on Facebook. Shout out to Blake Turner for 500. Demetrius Thomas for 600. Shout out to Coach B Thomas for another 100. Man, I'm telling y'all, people are sending these T. Renee, these stars. We really appreciate you. You know, if you are looking for a way to support the Maze Jackson show, you want to send me a quick $30? Go to Facebook, send me 3,000 stars. But look, y'all, every bit helps. We are putting this money towards producing a show. I gotta pay Todd one day. Like one day.
Yeah, either that or Claire's gonna stop going to school.
Well, you know, how old is she?
16.
She got enough school already. She don't need no more.
Time for public school.
Right. She don't need no more school. And now you know.
CPS it is. Or it's a UPS.
All right. Couple things. Future growth of the city of Chicago. One of the things that I think is very important is that we really start to think about what does the city look like coming out of this, right? We got $2 billion in property taxes that are going to be coming. I'm just telling you, $2 billion. They say we got $700 million coming out this year. Nobody still has told me whether we've been reimbursed the $200 million for the ambulance money that the mayor said she was getting from the president. The other thing is, we know that the office market, as people move to work from home, a lot of those big buildings and a lot of that construction that was happening, whether it was office or retail, right? Because retail is changing too. How will Chicago recover? What does Chicago look like coming out of the pandemic? You know, we got 130. Our violence is up 138% year to date. Murders and shootings and all that good stuff. You know what irritates me too?
What?
You ever hear when they say murders are up 100, shootings are up 138%, but overall crime is down.
Yes, I heard that last night.
It jumps
That
out.
means everybody else is chilling out right now.
Right, they like.
But the Nakers still shooting.
Right, but the Nakers are still shooting. What does Chicago look like coming out of it? I was thinking, like, so I know some guys that were working on some pretty big projects, and they're shutting their projects down because the city has not recognized that it's a different world, right? So, you know, if you're trying to force people, like there were plans and policy, and they were forcing people to build office space. Can you force a developer to build office space in a climate like this?
No. Of course not.
So, what's the plan for growth? Right? Think about what the West Loop was going to look like. You know, I always think about it. They said the plan was for downtown to go all the way to Ashland.
But you know, like in a recession, that's when millionaires are made, right?
Exactly.
I honestly, you know, it sucks that overall as a country we are dealing with this right now. But for people that ain't really had a whole bunch, this is the opportunity to buy up things at really low rates.
So I hear that, but if you ain't had much, where you getting your money from?
Well,
Like,
hopefully you've been smart, and because this is not, COVID came and just like made it worse. But we've been preparing for this for like the last 2 years.
You think so? I don't think so.
People been talking about. They've been saying it.
But y'all been putting.
Y'all
You've been having groceries stacked up and all that.
How
you been preparing?
I've done a better job of saving, like just preparing. You know, so like I'm waiting on the real estate market to drop so that I can take advantage of that.
I'm gonna tell you, in this time of COVID, I have been a lot more conservative and a lot more judicious in how I've utilized money, looking for the opportunity. I don't know if I'm waiting for somebody's downfall or my come up, but some kind of way.
It ain't gotta be our people downfall, because right now, people that might have had money are struggling, especially if they made that money off of some type of brick and mortar business, right?
Yeah, it is interesting to see like all the rich people.
But the thing is, if you're in digital, like what you're doing, radio, digital, whatever, you'll be fine.
See,
that's who's winning right now.
I'm gonna tell you, I was just thinking about that though. Like, who is prepared? Like, and is Black Chicago prepared to make the switch? I was just thinking, like, for us, as in our generation, and I'm gonna say mine, not yours, Todd, and not yours, Jasmine. Yours is below.
Oh, we got 3 generations.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how we playing this time.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I don't know if my generation is prepared to make the digital switch yet. Have they repurposed? Are we still in the old place, right? Like, I mean, I feel like we're taking the bull by the horns. I think we're pioneers right now. Mm-hmm. But what does the future of Black Chicago look like coming out of a recession? I think the one thing that I think, for instance, if we watch if the property taxes get raised by $2 billion, right? That tells me that Auburn, Gresham, Chatham, Inglewood is going to clear out. I think you got seniors in those places.
So who's going to be there?
Well, where are they going to go? The seniors don't leave.
The seniors might not
make it. They got senior freezes.
I got you, but they may not make it, right? Like, what fills in those places?
We have to be the ones to buy up our communities and make sure that we don't take advantage of the elders in our communities. Well, we have to be the ones to do that.
Well, I'm telling y'all right now, they scouting the neighborhoods right now.
They've been doing that.
But I
got a neighbor. I got
2 white neighbors
on both sides. The other day,
but now they looking. They like, these houses in Chatham show is nice. When they putting them Christmas lights up on your joint, y'all gonna be talking about some. They look. Excuse me, ma'am. Here, let me put these. Can I look in at you? Oh, you got 3 bedrooms. Okay. Look, y'all. This is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Jasmine Turner, Todd Stroger. When we come back, y'all, we are going to move on to the Epstein Fallout. I want to talk about this because I didn't watch the whole movie, but that was a nasty dude. And it seems like there's a lot of nasty people that hung out with him. What's your role when you know your friend is nasty?
Depends on how nasty they are. Like,
okay, so what if you was R. Kelly?
I ain't saying.
That's past nasty. That's like.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about it.
I didn't watch the movie or
the documentary.
Well, I'm going to tell you.
Tough.
I had to turn it off. Just to talk of the Chicago world renowned Maze Jackson of the greatest ever radio. What's in it for the black people? Give us a call. But actually, tune in. We're gonna go to a mix and then we'll be back.
Great bounce back on that. He was like,
I was like, "What play on?" All right, shout out to Coach B Thomas. I see y'all. Shout out to Share. Brian Hudson. Oh, hold on. We got to give Brian Hudson a big shout.
Audrey says they call Chatham the Black Beverly. They coming, sure are.
No. They call black people call Chatham Black Beverly. White people like, we discovered us a new place. It's free now. We discovered us a new place. Hold on. Shout out to Brian Hudson with the 50 stars, $50 donation to the morning. Man, shout out. That's how the Sigmas do, Todd. Look, you see. Sigmas represent. Meanwhile, Todd over there like,
yeah,
that's why he wore the blue shirt today, trying to be down.
Everybody likes blue. It's such a common color.
What up, Miss? All right, so this is Dawn.
Hi, Dawn.
Boatman. Dawn is old school Chicago. She was before your time. And
why
then she went
because
you ain't from here, right? We was original. We actually did the first. Actually, Dawn had the first hip hop show on VON back in the day. I think I have a flyer from that somewhere. Oh, and our first radio interview for TSP was on your show.
TSP.
Yeah, I still got pictures from that. I think those pictures are over there.
Lord have
somewhere. But this is the studio.
I was only 8 years old then, so being grown. Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna go make some McDonald's.
Okay. Huh?
Nice to meet you too. We need a millennial show.
Say again.
Everything is millennial.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not. I'm just saying. I'm just thinking. If we think of show ideas, we need a millennial show with your girl on there. That's all I'm saying.
And then what would you have, like TikTok videos?
If Trump don't ban it,
right?
But I'm on the older side of millennials. But we'll talk about hot topics and all of that stuff. hot topics.
What are millennials into?
Everything.
The crazy shit. Killing each other.
No, that's not. No, we not.
They into their phone.
That's true.
You ever been to a millennial party? It's whack. It's always whack because this is what everybody does.
Right.
I was just thinking
actually
like,
on social media. That's what
no, the party. That's what your problem is. The party is actually where you're at.
But you know what? When COVID came, you know who was ready prepared?
Who?
The people that never stopped making money was them people that get clowned all the time. The Instagram models, the people that have products that selling on Instagram. They had no. They didn't have to switch because they was already
They
prepared.
took a hit though for a second.
I think everybody took a hit. Okay, you gotta pull this shut. Pull that door for me. Bye bye.
Maze, you need a millennial show. Oh, you got a headset.
Ain't no hocus pocus. They will all know us. Don't let
This like Power. It's kind of like Power. That's what he was inspired.
Oh
by.
no, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That morning smoke, wake and bake.
That's how Power's intro is, and the song is kind of like it too.
Wake up, Chicago! Wake up, world! This is the Maze Jackson Show. It's 8:05. That means you only got 55 minutes to get there. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger. But you know what's sitting in with us today? Gotta say what's up to Miss Jasmine Turner.
Wow.
Jasmine in the building, as well as Miss Sonia Escobar, musical conductor of the Soul Playing. Hey, y'all. A lot of stuff going on around here. Shout out to Don Boatman and Steve Matthews who stopped by. They in the building. Look, y'all. The programming lineup right here at What's In It for the Black People Radio is about to be estupendo. Okay, I like estupendo. Estupido. It's gonna be estupido. That's right, y'all. We got more shows. I'm gonna tell you what. We gonna make it where you come in this mug. You gonna turn on at 6 o'clock, and I think I'm already we gonna have you listening, watching from 6 to 6. You might as well just put us on your TV, cast us to your big screen, cause What's In It for the Black People social radio is coming to a TV near you. We got a daytime show. We got the morning show. We got middays coming September 1st. Starting next week, we gonna have an afternoon show, right? No, excuse me.
And then you just
late
did an
afternoon
evening show for the millennials.
Actually, I'm working on that now.
Oh, okay.
So we are working on a 6 to 9 show for the millennials. So if you know any millennials that are interested in hosting a show, got some talent, got some topics, you know what I'm saying? They ain't got to be all extra. Look, I'm telling y'all, the bigs, I'm excited about the bigs. A sports podcast, sports show, call-ins. Black people know more about sports, and there's so much I want to talk about. I'm going to touch on some of it today. We might have to get the bigs in here on Thursday too, Todd. Have them come in.
I love sports.
I know. You know what? I might let y'all get in and get y'all thing going on. Now, you know what's beautiful? What I love about digital right now is that young people with talent are able to connect with each other and go direct. So people that I would never think I could reach, these young millennials are talking to them, and they like, man, the bigs gonna be bringing Chicago's tip top talent right here in the building. Now we're gonna have to make them. We're gonna have to spray them down because you know them football players. Some days
you don't know where they been.
Right. Uncle Otis, big old man.
You need some volunteers for the big show.
Look, y'all tripping, man. Y'all tripping. Let me tell you, this is the Maze Jackson show. I'm the star here.
Oh Lord, you're not gonna be on. They're gonna have their own show, or no?
That's their own show.
You want to be the star of their show?
I want to be the star of everybody's show. Nah, actually, I'm gonna tell you what. What I am interested in doing is having a platform, for black folks, like a place where black people can be fully black. And I do politics. That's my thing. You know, we got people that do lifestyle. I'm gonna even tell you. I know y'all ain't gonna want to hear me say this, but even I'm trying to find a late night, overnight, black adult show. So that
I said soul.
What's that mean?
Like you know the what was that late night show? Midnight Soul.
No. I'm thinking more like after dark show, not raunchy, but straight like adult. Like real conversations.
Like the radio version of what was that show that Nelly's video?
I don't know, but
After Dark.
Oh, no, we gotta go. No. But here's what I'm gonna say. I want us outlet for all of our talent, right? Like if you got something going on, if you got a topic, right? So like we got Mike Brown coming. He's gonna talk guns, right? And concealed carry. So again, I'm looking for talent. We are looking to fill in the show. Man, I'm trying to get. If I get my afternoon team right, ain't gonna be no space in this city.
I know a guy who visits the strip club, so
maybe we give him a set. Oh, don't forget, brother, and don't forget we're gonna be.
A friend.
I got a friend.
I'm gonna tell Janine about that friend. Also, brother Patah will be joining us as our on the street reporter. You know, he is the Uber driver extraordinaire. So
I ran into him the other day.
See, I'm telling you, Patah be everywhere, right? And we be like, he'll let you know. So we're gonna be bringing him in. I'm telling you all, I'm actually working on a puppet show too. So I'm telling you,
a puppet show.
A puppet show. So here's my thought. My thought is that black people like everything, right?
I don't know about puppets.
Man, you don't remember what's the old boy? Remember what's the black puppet guy?
Is it Lionel? No,
remember, and he had.
But I remember him. Yeah, with
he
the
used to
mustache.
scare me though. That puppet used to scare me. The one that used to sit on his knee, the black guy, the puppet. You remember him? And he used to have the. Okay, that's
no, you
not
remember.
He was on. Yeah, those puppets always make me nervous because they make me think of Trilogy of Terror.
So who's gonna be the comedian that's doing the puppet? There's a guy that you know that has a puppet show?
No.
You're gonna do it?
Yeah, I already got the lion. Like y'all tripping. I'm just saying. Show
us what you got though. Show us what you got.
You ain't gotta see me because you ain't gonna see me. See, you'll be right here.
Oh, that's not how it works.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Most puppet shows, like if you do an old school puppet show, they're right down here, and then above the top.
Right, but your face is supposed to be in the picture too.
No, that's the sit on your lap puppet. That's like the marionette.
Oh.
I'm gonna do like a puppet show where it's like, "Hi, my name's Maze," and he gonna see the lion's gonna say all the stuff I can't say. It's gonna be like an adult puppet show,
gotcha.
Right? So like Family Guy, except the lion gonna be talking smack. He gonna be the king of the jungle. He got a lot of stuff to talk about, and I bet the lion would tell y'all what he would do about Mike Madigan.
Well, let's test the lion out. What would the lion do about Mike Madigan? I have to hear the lion voice. I have to see.
Right, he like fire his ass. Rah! Take that. All right, y'all. This is the Maze Jackson show. I am feeling really silly right now. I want to talk about Jeffrey Epstein. This Jeffrey Epstein stuff. Now it's a little crazy. Todd, Jeffrey Epstein. And Jasmine, are you familiar? Jeffrey Epstein is the billionaire. What was he a billionaire of?
He was he a billionaire? I think he just was really successful.
Nah, he's a billionaire. In the what industry?
Finance industry. He was like a financial advisor. He was kind of like, he had all these clients where he managed their money.
And then he also managed their sex lives, apparently. But apparently this Jeffrey Epstein was known to procure young underage women for wealthy people. Go ahead.
I was going to say the interesting part about that was that's what he did generally, but he had women who helped him. Like what he did was he sent his women, the close friends, as well as the girls that he was, already molesting. He would get them to go get more women. So it would be like these bougie white women that are hosting all the art shows and hiring the models. He would go to them and they would say, hey, this guy wants to pay for your college. He wants to pay for you to, study overseas. And they were basically sending the women to him.
So I saw something like this on Police Story.
I saw something like this on the West Side.
What?
I'm just saying. Okay, so there's a few things. So I think Jeffrey Epstein is part of a bigger issue with the love and desire of younger women.
I thought you were going to say trafficking.
Well, that too, right? But I'm going to take it out of trafficking because I think trafficking we make it sound all. I think trafficking is the nefarious, the bad guy. I think Jeffrey Epstein wasn't. Now he's a trafficker. Before, he was a billionaire financer who like younger women.
And he wasn't hiding it either.
Right? It's like he had a sex island, right? Where all of the biggest of the big, who Bill Clinton, everybody. Now,
no, he was found guilty and got like a sweetheart deal, right?
He was found guilty. No,
Guilty
he was
by who?
By a court of law.
No, I mean like U.S.
Yes, in Florida first, before this big thing happened, right? So he was originally found guilty in Florida, or he pled guilty in Florida, and they gave him like a super sweetheart deal that also protected all of his accomplices. So all the women that had helped him out, they couldn't be charged ever again by any agency. And he, I think, did 18 months in jail or prison. But he was able to leave for work.
Right, he was able to leave. He did work release.
He was still going to meetings, and like he had like a super sweetheart deal that prevented him from being charged again. Like that's how sweetheart it was, and it was by the
Janet Reno? No, not
the
Janet.
guy that Trump appointed to he had Acosta.
Oh yeah, Acosta.
That's why he had to resign, because they learned about the sweetheart deal that he had gave Jeffrey Epstein years ago, because
he was the prosecutor.
Yeah,
he was
he was the prosecutor.
And I want to say he was
white
like
men protecting the world.
Well, he was
again,
he was a Cuban, right? Cuban protecting the white men.
Like I said, white men protecting the world.
Listen,
you must not know what Cubans think about themselves.
So here's my question: what role does everybody else have? Like, so I'm gonna put this in context, and then I'm not gonna go way down this path. So I'm gonna liken this to R. Kelly in Chicago, right? So there was a point when, forget the court of law, everybody knew what happened, right? Everybody knew what happened with the little girl. The tape was everywhere. I'm not gonna say I saw it, but I just know that everybody knew what was happening.
It was everywhere.
I actually still have never seen the tape.
So you don't need to.
Yeah, you don't need to, but don't go to a barbershop either.
Then, man, it was on at the bar. It was like that joint was on replay. Like it was like you just walked into the barbershop, and it was like, whoa. But so during that time, I used to literally go and be like, turn that off. Like, and when the brothers would be like, man, dog, you gotta sit. Nah, Joe.
So you gotta check yourself.
You like Joe.
Why you like that?
Right. But then it got me to thinking. I was thinking about that R. Kelly time, and I remember it's like he doubled down in Chicago. Like he doubled down. Like he started hiring everybody from Chicago. Like, this my city, and people were all in the video. Step in the Name of Love came on the heels of the R. Kelly allegations. And people that we know flocked to him. What role do we have in stopping stuff like that? Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, people used to be like, Maze, come on, let's go. I was like, I ain't going. Like, I stopped. There are people that are Chicago legends and icons who knew, participated, fed the whole beast, fed the chicks, the whole thing.
Or
and
just
we
laughed or said nothing. Or
and
nothing.
And we honor them still.
Yeah.
Like people used to be like, Maze, you tripping. Like, I would be like, I'm not talking to that nigga.
And that's the problem, right?
I did. I used to be like, no. I'm like, bro, you know what time it is, and you are still condoning this. Now, what role? Because it makes people uncomfortable. Right?
That's the role, right? What you did. That's what we have to do. Because even if you don't participate, if you're still celebrating the culture that, you know, does this to women, and not just like molestation or whatever, but any type of abuse to men or women, if you celebrate that culture, then you are ultimately contributing to it.
So then what about if you go to the strip club?
And the strip clubs, grown women doing what they want to do. That's
but they was
different, though.
abused.
How do we know that? Listen, it's some strippers making more money than people that have been in college all their lives, right? Like, you know, not all strippers come from abuse.
Todd, I'm just telling you.
What did your friend say, Todd?
You know what? We'll find out. We'll find out about Todd's friend when we come back. This is the Maze Jackson Show. Jasmine Turner, Maze Jackson, Todd Stroger, Sonia Escobar. Okay, I'm
from the South, right? So you know, strip clubs that's the club, and I don't know what it is, you know, what it's like in other places, but in the South, like, it can be chicks that are in college. We all have seen that story, but the strip club ain't always abused girls.
I would agree that recently. So I feel like the stripper culture has become glamorized, like the Megan Thee Stallions and the right. Like I feel like so now
Players Club changed that. Players Club, when it came out and she was in college, that was her story. People saw Players Club changed that.
And I feel like Players Club didn't change that to me.
I never believe those type of stories, even though.
Listen.
No, there are no. I know some girls like
sure
we found out that they were.
But I'm pretty sure that became the thing to say too.
Stripper. My roommate in college was a stripper.
I'm gonna tell you, your roommate in college was a stripper, but
Alabama.
I went to Grambling though. My roommate in college, she was a stripper.
I'm gonna tell you, your roommate.
She came to school on the volleyball team.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you,
gorgeous girl, and she just was like making crazy money, like
yeah, okay,
but she got a little.
How'd the volleyball go? Did you finish?
No,
okay.
no.
See,
when she left, she went to school somewhere else.
Because you can't. Because once you at the strip club in college, you ain't escaping that, right? Like, so let me back up.
That's fair.
There's two things. First of all, I think, and this is probably unliberated thinking, I feel like if your option is that you go to the strip club, right? And I'm not saying that there's not 1 in 1,000 that ain't had no sexual abuse issues. Mm-hmm. But I am going to say that grown women or not, first of all, I remember my bachelor party. They brought me 30 strippers for when I got married the first time, and I hid in the bathroom. Like I straight up hid in the bathroom. Like
preacher's
kid. No, not that. It's like
oh yeah, you are.
I am, but that I just don't. I don't. I feel like, first of all, what I seen a black girl have to do for $1.
You said why should I have to do all that for $1?
The brothers be like, I got one single and I'm placing it, and I just be like, and watching how voracious appetites are. Like when if you've ever been to like a lock-in or somewhere, it's just like
I never even heard of that.
And the thing is, I feel like if you telling me the white stripper girl, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But like the place where they can't touch you, you go to these bachelor parties where these dudes be, that damn near might as well be almost a violent rape. Really? Like I just be like, oh God, I can't take it. I'd be like, when I had my club, we used to have a stripper night. And it was like, and I had an apartment in the back. So first of all, they just nasty. Like nasty. The smell. The strippers smell like that. Whatever that stuff they spray on combined with all of the body stuff. Oh, it was just gross. But I remember people finding out I owned the joint, and they were like the whole daddy, and I was just like, I can't deal with none of that. Like, and I feel like almost anytime I talk to a stripper, like after I get past all the I'm an empowered chick, blah 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 blah, there's some underlying shit, right? Whether it's insecurity, whether it is, and if somebody, so I'm not I'm not dealing, but I also feel like what we've also done is glamorize the abuse, right? I feel like, I'm not saying like, again, if you go to one of these white clubs where they won't even let you, compared to the girl that is stripping for survival, it's kind of different to me. But I'm not denigrating anybody. I'm just saying I don't buy into the whole, oh, I was just a liberated woman and I decided I wanted to walk my ass around. I'm like, somebody taught you shake that money maker. You ain't never got to be broke, right? And some people say use what you got. And if that's what you got, and if that's where your mind goes. So it's just a lot. Come on, we can come back.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm.
Bum, bum. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Mm-mm. 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 You are listening to What's in It for the Black People Radio live on WBGX 1570 AM. Todd, what's that bop you doing over there, man? It's
Hey,
like,
man, you know what I was thinking?
What?
Next year, we need to do a show from Xavier, and we'll invite the Chicago Club over.
we should do it. We could do it. You know we can broadcast from anywhere in the world.
Yes.
Like, we could go to Grambling if I could find it.
No, Grambling's much too far from New Orleans.
Is Grambling
What's that, like
much too
6
far?
hours or something?
What is this, like in the country?
4 hours.
Woo,
and
it's
it is
far
in the
off
country,
there.
but that's
They don't.
okay.
I heard they don't even got paved roads over
No, we do have paved
I've never
roads.
been to Grambling.
Why y'all do us like that?
Hey, that's Simbu said all
When they
that.
didn't want to educate the Nakers, Grambling was there.
there. All right, y'all. So you said we should do a black college tour. Like we should jump on. We should wrap a bus. We should go go down south, hit like Tennessee State, broadcast live from Tennessee State, then get in the truck, get in the van, get all the way down to somewhere else, broadcast from there, and do like a 5-day college tour.
Yeah, that would not be hard.
And then you get the
20, and you can just hit black colleges. If you hit 20,
40, that's a whole month.
and then Chicago, Chicago, we meet the Chicago Club in every city.
I'll be
And
divorced
they
by
be-
that time.
Interstate 20. That's what I mean.
Interstate.
Yeah,
Oh, you said 20. Oh, you was
you'll
talking about.
pass like a bunch of HBCUs on
Oh, I see.
that are out there. You go through Mississippi.
I hope that. Well, I'm not going through. I'm
Louisiana,
flying over
Texas.
Mississippi, Texas.
Man,
No.
we can stay in
Where you
Louisiana and we can hit 4. If Grambling's only 4 hours away, we can stop at Xavier, Dillard, Southern.
Dillard's
and
not
Grambling.
black though. Oh, Dillard is black. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brandis Freeman went to Dillard.
Who?
But y'all should
Brandis
go to
Freeman
Southern.
on Channel 11.
Oh, okay.
He said,
Who? Todd, you went to Xavier?
uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
Carrie went to Xavier too, and
Oh.
every time we go to New Orleans, we always have a problem trying to find Xavier because they keep moving the billboard, and Xavier's behind the billboard. It's the school behind the billboard. I never forget. I know I tell this joke. I love this joke though. It's like we went to Xavier and we went down to New Orleans. We kicking it. She like, let's go back to college. Let's go back to Xavier. I was like, I can't wait to see your school, right? So we get on the expressway and I'm driving. I'm whew. She like, you passed it. All right. Hit the next exit. Shoom. You passed it again. It was right there. Okay. Drive back. Shoom. Slow down. See the billboard? Yes. Underneath that. I was like, oh, that's y'all school. Like you or I keep, and then
Well, I would just say
Lord.
that.
Y'all love to clown the HBCU.
Yes,
but
he does. The Pope visited our school, bro.
guess what?
What?
The internet was invented in our school, bro.
I'll
You want the Pope?
Was it?
Yes. You or
Wow.
I? Thank you.
take the Pope.
Okay. Well, some of those kids probably couldn't know. Oh, sorry.
Well, as you've been stating, that's a wide net. That goes way outside of Catholicism.
Well, I hear you, but they made a specialty of it. They kind of perfected it.
I will not say I'm happy with those guys. That's the problem with men's organizations.
Yeah,
They
man.
try to self-police and it never works out.
Oh Lord, that ain't all they self doing. All right, y'all. This is the
I
Miss
won't go any
Jackson
further.
show. Right, we need to stop. This is gonna end up bad.
Right.
You know, the Catholics be done had the what's that dude that Tom Hanks was on? Where they come up and they do the, you know, they got the ninjas.
Oh, with the
they got the swords, the Knights of Peter Claver or something.
Demons and all that.
I don't know, but
I didn't watch those movies.
you know they got, you know, the Catholics got like a sword committee, like they'll come cut your head off. Like they got. So, see, look, Todd, like
That's the Crusade.
yeah, okay, they still got that. They still got that order though. All right, y'all. So bad friends though. What do you do?
I
Like
leave
in
them
the-
alone. I never go back.
So
I'm never talking to a bad friend. If you bad, you bad. I don't want to be around you.
So in the case of this, let me ask a question: does everybody that went to the island get crucified?
I didn't see
So-
the documentary, so
Jasmine, you saw the
According
documentary.
to according to the women, they said that not everyone that went to the island was necessarily there for young girls. Like he also conducted business there, and he was, you know, he managed money. I think that's what he did. He managed people's money. So and again, we have to see who produces the documentary, but from what it appeared on the documentary was that when Bill Clinton was there, it was not one of those cases. But then this article just came out a couple days ago that said
It was
Bill Clinton
called
was
Sex
there with
Island.
a couple of girls.
It was called Sex Island.
Young
Let's
girls.
just be clear. They kicked Prince Andrew out of the royal court for being this because he liked to lick between the little girl's toes. Guys, this so
is that what they said in the documentary?
no, that's what they said in the article that was in the paper today.
Oh.
Here's my thought.
And there was a picture of Prince Harry with one of the girls.
I think there's pictures
I
of
learned
everybody.
talking to a guy. He was nobody I actually knew. He was a friend of somebody else, but he was talking about going to some place. I don't know. It might have been South America.
No, he's talking about going to
And then I was like,
Republic.
I've heard enough. Can I leave now?
He's talking about
They
going
go to South America for that too.
They
for
got
women,
that
for sure.
in Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
In
They going to DR for, you know, from what I heard, what they said, they go to DR for more than just women. DR got different types of women.
what you mean?
DR?
Yeah. What you mean different
You
kinds?
mean like lady boys?
Lady boys. DR is the place for lady boys. The most beautiful lady boys.
And on that note, I'll be back in Jamaica. Hey y'all, this is the Mace Jackson Show. When we come back, is it the end of Black conformity? Are we approaching the end of Black conformity? This headline jumped out to me, and it's funny we were talking about HBCUs. The headline read, and let me find it because I messed it up. The headline read, Liberty University poured millions into sports. Now its black athletes are leaving. That was the headline. Liberty University poured millions
I saw that headline.
into sports. Now its black athletes are leaving.
It's black athletes like they own them.
But that's actually the point. I want to talk
no,
about
I think the point is the only black people at the university are athletes.
but that's in a lot of different scenarios. I want to talk about that when we come back. Because I was thinking, remember when I told you about how it was for black athletes at U of I? And I don't know if you saw the story of the University of Iowa athletes, the black athletes saying that they've been bullied, and then we saw at the University of Missouri they forced changes a few years ago when the team walked off and said that they weren't going to play.
Oh, I remember that.
That was
I
big think stuff. there's a collective something in our youth that we maybe our young people are seeing that we did it, and I want to make sure we don't snuff that spirit. Like,
oh no, well times change. I was trying to tell Ruthie the other day, well probably both of you, that everything is a house. There's a foundation, then you start putting bricks up. So they're building on what has happened before them.
And so I just want to make sure that we as parents are careful, right? Because I know what I was taught growing up, right? As to how, even with the white ice and doing it right, And so what is doing it right
Nate
now?
likes white Jesus.
No, actually, see, Jasmine, look, go ahead, make that face, right? Like, what the hell is he talking about? Right, exactly. It's the Maze Jackson Show.
You
We'll
got a
be
picture
back.
of white Jesus at home.
Now, see,
Hey, you ain't got a picture of white Jesus, do you?
no, I got a picture of white Jesus, but all I'm suggesting,
Because Jesus wasn't white, you know. Like, if he was white, it'd be fine, but he wasn't.
Jesus was. So first of all, I don't got a picture of Jesus in my house.
Okay.
And I don't say that to be disrespectful. I'm still clearly trying to define my spirituality.
I
Where
get
it
you.
fits.
Really?
Like I'm not exactly sure. Like
I know where I am.
it's hard to know
I just don't talk about it.
what you grew up with, right? Like so, I grew up with a certain belief system that permeates, but then there are things that don't make sense in there. So I'm trying to pick and choose. What I do know is that I have to have a component of spirituality. And I'm never going to say that there is not a God. And I'm never not going to say... Now, I don't know if the routines and the religion that I learned, per se, is right. Right? Like, I mean, I think like just in the difference in how I view preachers and pastors in the pursuit of... like I grew up where the preacher wasn't supposed to have no big old car, right? And it's in me. So when I see you, I make instant judgments, right? Like if you pull up in a Cadillac, I'm automatically like, man, what you? I mean, so and then there's those things that were poured into you as a kid that you don't know if that's just because you believe it or it's because they told you. And you said you couldn't ask them. Because everything I was always taught, every answer to everything growing up was, God don't, just because God. Because God.
And so, that hasn't changed, though. Just because the preachers changed, just because the people that, follow the religion have changed, the word ain't changed, right? Because I see it the same way.
Yeah, but the word, but I agree with you on that. But, so... There's a lot of things that we now find acceptable that as a child growing up was unacceptable.
That still ain't changed for me though.
So that's how I feel, right?
Yeah,
but you in the world, you be like, these mugs be like, oh, you're crazy.
No, I am more tolerant of people who see it differently, right? Because I'm not enough to be like, oh, well, my way is the right way. But I'm just going to stick to the way that has always worked for me. Now, if you find something else in the Bible that says something totally different to you, then by all means go do that,
That's fair.
A lot of my friends are into like the stuff that Beyonce's doing now.
What's she doing?
She making up the church of Beyonce like the church of Kanye.
No, Beyonce, her whole entire album and really the last couple albums have given a lot of I don't know the term for it, but has put Yoruba gods on display a lot, right? So Oshun, the yellow dress, like a lot of the imagery and all that stuff in her last album was promoting
Return to African spirituality. Which to a lot of people that are familiar, it's light and dark, right? So Christianity is just kind of is light and dark because there's a dark side to that, right? So you can go to African spirituality if you want somebody to die or you want a man to fall in love with you. Like it's more than just let me go live right. Okay. And I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm not judging, but that's Beyonce's world. That's kind of how the water, the yellow dresses, all of that stuff. That is, and she talks about it in her music if you pay attention. Okay.
So a lot of black people, because they're searching for spirituality, because they don't want to have the same religion as their masters, I just think we have to know that white people didn't come up with Christianity. Jesus wasn't white, right? And so although they used it the same way that people use it today to their benefit, doesn't mean that Christianity in itself is a bad thing. It's always worked for me. I'm gonna stick to it.
Right. You are tuned in to the Maze Jackson Show live on WBGX 1570 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Stroger, also sitting in with us today and tomorrow, Miss Jasmine Turner. Hey, where's Cousin Juan? We probably need to call Cousin Juan up, too. Be like, Cousin Juan, even though Tennille says you ain't a millennial. Well, you ain't, though. That ain't no shame in that. These millennials crazy, man. Crazy than a mother.
Why y'all do us like that? But we kind of dope. Millennials really did do some dope stuff. Give
like
us that.
What y'all do?
Black Lives Matter.
I can't claim that. I mean, that you
talk about the movement in itself, right? Like maybe not the details of the organization, all that, but the change that Black Lives Matter has brought to the table.
What change?
Some civil.
Give me the change. Give me a tangible.
Tangibles is criminal justice reform.
Give me what is that? What does that look like? And is that millennials or is that? Oh, well, give me what that looks like. Criminal justice reform.
I think everybody all worked together to do it, but I think what millennials did was use the culture that everybody loves. Instead, if you're gonna celebrate our culture, you want to be cool with us, then you also have to be in support of us when it comes down to Black lives.
How does that play out? Tangent. Give it to me.
I think a lot of that has to do with like how we can just be more aggressive now and like what's in it for the black people, right? Like, of course you built that on your own, but
I didn't build on my own. I don't want to say that. It's people.
If there weren't enough black people that were also unafraid to be like, what's in it for the black people with you, right? It wouldn't be as easy to do that, right? If you were just standing out here alone saying that, it might be a little bit more difficult.
Okay, I will say that there is an increased black consciousness. I'm not sure what the tangible outcomes of that is, right? Like, I'm not sure what the tangible outcomes of it is. Or I wasn't sure. Let me say this. I wasn't sure what the tangible outcomes of it was until I read this story and started thinking about a series of stories like it. Before we went to break, the headline that caught my attention was Liberty University poured millions into sports. Now its black athletes are leaving. And it's the story of Tavion Land, a Liberty University student who decided that after being there that the culture, he didn't enjoy the culture. Remember when I told you about being at U of I and I remember how they did the black athletes? And the black athletes would land at U, like, so all of us were black. Most of the black athletes came from city or urban areas,
right?
And many of them had not necessarily had the best of life, but once they were an athlete at U of I, Big Ten University, they got all facilities, lunchroom, everything that you need to build a program.
What a good world! But
those athletes were immediately separated from the black students.
From you riffraff.
Right? Mm-hmm. They were immediately cordoned off. They were given white girls as boosters or as their like mentors, mentees, and they would show them around the classes and that too. But essentially, they were told not to go to, like, we used to have union parties. That's why all the black people went to union parties. They wouldn't come to the union parties. They didn't join black Greek letter organizations. And as a matter of fact, they were encouraged to come into our space and be disruptive, right? Mm-hmm. So like the football team would come to they could come to a union party where all the black Greeks were, and they would come in and be like, we football team, we bigger than everybody, so we gonna bust all this stuff up. Like, they had no respect for black culture on the campus. And because they could fight and get away with it, and the police and whatever, so it's like, they come break your line. You like, I don't care what football team you on, Joe. It's like, we in it. Mm-hmm. And kind of everybody had their place in their pecking order, but the athletes were always pulled out. I remember we had the Flying Illini. And it was when the Blazers and everybody was like, it was like everything they was talking about, it was going down. Mm-hmm. But all of the superstar athletes that went to these black schools were all put in the suburbs, and they all lived off campus with these white girls, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they were taught to, go to class. You could go hang out at Cam's, but don't go to the union party. They were kind of cordoned off and made special, and they were separated from black culture. And quite frankly, I would tell you that some of them enjoyed it. Right? Like, because there was perks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the "you're not one of them" thing that.
Right.
White
You special.
people.
Right.
Yeah.
And they all, but they. So when I saw this story of the black athlete saying, you know what, I'm not feeling comfortable here, and I'm not. I could imagine that a black kid back in the day, if he said, "Mom, I'm not feeling this white people culture," right? Your mom would be like, "Boy, you better shut up, get down there, don't make no trouble with them white folks, and you get you that degree because that's your only way to do it." And the white guys, no sensitivity for your culture, right? No, think about the way college sports is, and sports are. There's a white handler that trains the beasts to perform properly, right? Look at Phil Jackson, right? Phil Jackson was the conjurer. He was the, what they call him, the Zen magic,
Zen master,
because he could calm he could bring all of these savage minds together to get them to.
Quite thought about it. He got 12 people to work as a group, as one.
I agree, but
and that's the pros are different because they're making real money.
So I'll give you that, except for I feel like in the narrative, the way that it comes out, like
Coach K works a little better.
Okay, I'll give you Coach K. I'll give you Coach K. Or John Calipari be like, y'all Negroes do what y'all want to do.
Right.
I need 1 year. I just need 1 year to shop y'all. But I guess my question is now, are we going to teach our children different? And the reason I'm asking is because I was always taught that to do it the way the white people told us so we could get it done right. That I almost feel like we taught our kids that white ice is colder.
Well, in the athletic setting, I would say yes. I mean, I know guys who have been agents, and they always said they had a hard time getting black people to sign up with them because they were black agents.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
And I always think of like the coaches, think about this. How many of the white coaches that play sport, that coach basketball, football, actually were good players? And I'm not saying that they weren't, but
it's rare. I mean, that they were highly skilled and athletic. But people say that's because when you're really good, your ego's so high. It's kind of hard for you to deal with regular folks.
So I guess my question now becomes, what do you tell your children going forward? Right? Like, so again, my kid goes to St. Rita, right? He goes to St. Rita, and St. Rita says to the black kids, you guys can't wear that hairstyle. Now, it ain't on his collar. It ain't on his, but it's his culture. Do I tell him he's got to cut his? I remember there would be a time like where you tell you, now he ain't getting no tattoos. But would you make him cut his hair if the white folks didn't like the style?
No. Absolutely not.
It depends on how much I want him to go to the school, because I don't really care about basketball that much. I love basketball. But
take away basketball.
I'm more interested in who you're going to meet and if they're educating you well.
So let me ask you a question. So
if everybody else has to do it, I mean, if all the white people have to cut their hair to a certain level, I'm with it.
And then, no judgment, but I feel like you're just preparing your kid to fold the rest of their life, right? If you teach them that early.
No, because I don't think my kid's gonna fight. It depends. I don't know what my kid wants to do.
I mean, like, one of the reasons that, shout out to my mom, but one of the reasons that I'm not afraid to speak up when I feel like it's something I want to speak out about is because whenever I needed to, going to school in Alabama, my mom would never let me fold. Even when I'd be like, don't worry about it, she would never let me fold. And I think that played a role in me, not being afraid to go and pursue things later on in life, because she just wouldn't allow me to fold, right? I think what we have to learn to do, because, right, you don't want your kids to be the one kid that's going to get kicked out and miss out on all of the opportunities. But if we won't change, we have to, push and force change. And we do that by creating,
Yeah, but see, I got to care about it, too, though. So I don't care about.
So take basketball.
I don't care about dreadlocks or anything of that.
But what if you're?
But
if
I had my way, my hair
grow some hair.
My hair would fall out every month at the end of the month. It just fall out.
So I guess my question though is right, and I'm using hair as a simple example. and Jasmine, I think you hit on what I'm trying to get to. Like, what are your children allowed to stand up for in their belief system? I was just thinking about, like, how many times in a day a black child has to conform to white thought or white belief in a school setting. And we say, man, boy, if you want to do, like, and not because we question it, not because there's anything, but just they said that's what you got to do. I think about Frank Linty, right? I think about all the black parents. He's the coach at
Mount Carmel.
Mount Carmel.
Yeah.
Right? And I think about how many kids, black parents, sent their kids to this guy.
What happens with him in the end? I guess
he got bounced because I wrote an article and it exposed kind of what was going on in the racist practices where these white coaches were taking all the black talent. And then if your parents pushed back or if you didn't just comply, then he destroyed your football career.
Oh.
Right?
Comply with what?
That's why unity is important. That's why when you go to these schools, all the good black athletes have to stand together and say, okay, you can't do this to him, or we all. Because
they always make so the example here was, this was a young black boy, a young black man or kid who didn't agree with some of the things that the coach said and the way he said them. Now, and the parents were like, my son, like, coach, you the coach. But it's a certain,
you gotta go.
But no, it's a certain level of decor I got for my kid.
But, I mean, I'm taking my kid. If we don't like it, I'm taking my kid.
But because this guy could ruin your kid's football career, right? Your parents say, be quiet. Go ahead and do what he tells you to do. I guess my question is, and it's not about the hair, but what parts of our culture do our children forced to deny on a daily basis? And as we're having these conversations, right? Like y'all pulling down Christopher Columbus statues, even as kids are walking down the hall dealing with real live racists who are projecting their, like, I think about, it was one of these things I was listening to, and I'm going to go back to St. Rita and then I'm going to stop. I was listening to the guy talking, and I see this at a lot of white Catholic schools where there are black kids. I saw the same thing at De La Salle, where the white coach or the white authority figure is talking, and we're going to make men out of these boys. Like, hey, yo, cuz, it's a room full of fathers sitting up in here. Right. I don't need you to make my son a man. We're going to teach them the ways of and I get, the hyperbole, but they was dead serious, like straight up, and I saw people clapping, and I was like, a mug around here, I'm gonna tell y'all what, mug around here, clap, y'all better figure out the tuition.
I'm sending my kid to get some discipline. That's part of my thought. I don't want him just to go to any school and they let him do whatever the hell he wants.
I want discipline, but I think here's discipline and the culture, though, right? Like, there's a difference between discipline, right? Like, if the rule, like,
you're supposed to prepare your child to go out into this land with a blazing sword, because there will be battles.
I wholeheartedly agree. So let's talk. What do they fight over? Remember that kid Miles? Yes. He came here and he came to fight, and his teacher said he was doing a Black History Month program, and the teacher said that's not black enough. It's not like Blackish. Yeah, so here's a black kid in a white school whose parents put him in a better place.
I'm falling in love with Blackish now that you said that.
Blackish is a really good show. I think the challenge with Blackish is it is so high end that it makes white folks feel comfortable, right? Like, everybody's like Bill Cosby. It's like a and that ain't the reality for most people. Look, y'all, when we come back, I just want to, and I don't know if I'm getting this all across properly, but I wonder, as we're looking at cultural institutions and we're pulling down statues, are we also addressing those things that may be in the schools that our kids are dealing with on a daily basis that might be culturally back in the day? Again, think about, you said Coach K. Think about all of these white Catholic high schools, these athletic departments where the coach is an old white guy teaching them the four square, right? Like, and I'm going to teach you.
You have to realize, when you talk to your children, when I went to St. Ignatius, I knew man, 3/4 of these people are going to be white. And my dad always said you got to work twice as hard. I had no expectations that they were going to try to treat me like they were treating me.
I'm
like
not even
their
talking
own
about
son.
academics. I'm talking
I know, I'm
about.
talking about treat me like I was their son. I didn't expect that.
Okay.
Just give me respect. I'll be happy. If not, I'm telling my parents.
Right, there it is. All right, well, let's talk about it. When we come back, and I think we got a good topic. We'll wrap up, and we'll come back after this.
Because as you know, Maze, I was a highly regarded athlete in my day.
You were?
No, I'm lying.
All right, y'all two got the camera. Y'all two got the
What?
camera.
Did you play any sports, Todd?
I did. I ran track. I refused not to be part of something though. That was what I was like. Man, I may not be able to do a lot of something, but I'm going to do something. So I ran track.
So I went to public schools in Alabama, but I was a cheerleader, which was like in Alabama similar to how you look at the leagues. Like, you know, the athletes are all black, but the cheerleaders are all white, and I was always like one of
That's how it was in the
maybe
Catholic
two or
league.
three or whatever. And that was like my thing. I played basketball too, but like cheerleading was like my thing. And from 7th grade all the way
My
to
niece
senior
was a
year,
big cheerleader. I was trying to figure out. I don't know how this cheerleading thing works, but
Yeah.
like, how did she not end up at some school cheerleading? I don't know.
Oh yeah. So anyway, that being said, I always dealt with
That's
you know
a dangerous job.
cheerleading.
Yeah.
It can be
Falling and all that stuff. Holy moly! If somebody makes
But
one
by
mistake,
the time that happens, you done practice the routine so many times, like on mats, before you actually go into an area that is not as safe. So you done practice and, you know, so many times holding that
Second
person
nature.
up. Yeah, like, you know. And you got 3 people holding one person, so if they fall, everybody it's actually organized on how you catch and how you hold your arms and like all that stuff. But anyway, I said that to say, with me, there was always like just petty stuff. Like when it's time to vote for, you know, captain, the bylaws would say this is how you do it and you vote, but then you'd have somebody be like, we're gonna choose them this year, you know, like that type of stuff. Every time my mom have to show, you know, she'd have to show her button, like, no, this is what the rules say, y'all gonna do it, you know, this way.
well, no, we know from history that whenever black
You are listening to What's in It for the Black People Radio live on WBGX 1570 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger. Miss Jasmine Turner is in the building as well. We only got a few minutes. Real quick, are we teaching our children to conform? Should we also be examining, while they're taking down the Christopher Columbus statues, what do they still teach? What are the books? Like, what does the book say that your kids are reading in the schools,
You
right?
celebrating the Christopher Columbus in the book.
Have we properly addressed this thing holistically? And I just want to make sure parents, we're looking out for our kids as this world is starting to change. Let's make sure that we're not still 100. Now, I want my kid to be disciplined. He got to follow the rules at school, but I also want to make sure that as we're addressing this white is right stuff, that we also recognize that is also preconceived notions. I was just thinking again, every time I see a Catholic school basketball team, they got a white coach, right? And you know, and they're.
Well, I think that's a bigger issue. There's not enough black teachers.
Well, I think there's enough
black.
black coaches that they could hire and find somebody. CPS seems to do it, but I think there's also this image.
Yeah, but it's a different type. I think, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong. The coaches tend to be teachers also. They're teaching something, religion, something in the Catholic school.
Okay. And in the black schools, they usually teach security.
Do you think that people are still raising their kids to think white is right? I feel like that has changed.
No, I don't. I think that there are people that if you are trying to teach your child to be successful in this world, you gotta some kind of way teach that. Now,
my dad always said you gotta work twice as hard because you know they're not gonna treat you the same way.
You gotta work twice
They
as
also
hard.
like to say, remember, you may run around with these guys, but you still ain't Irish.
Exactly. That I try to tell my kid all the time. And when they got their bright ideas, the one that's going to jail is you. Right? and they gonna take you.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that people teach their kids white is right, but I do think we've got to. I think there are some preconceived notions that are in all of our heads, right? I think we automatically tend to think, like, how do we make sure our kids are successful? And one of the ways that you teach success I've seen is compliance, right? It's one of two ways. You say you're going to be a rebel and you're going to blaze your own trail, i.e. me, or you're going to have to figure out and navigate a path.
Or, this is why I believe in, right, we prepare a foundation for our kids so that they don't have to deal with that, right? So if you have the foundation already ready for your kids, and this is why I believe in allowing your kids to still stay with you until they are financially prepared to purchase. I believe in, like, you know, us doing all those things for the next generation so that when they decide to go on their path, you ain't got to start from the bottom.
Right.
I already have this foundation prepared for you, and you can compete at the level of everybody else because I've created this foundation for you.
And I like that. I just don't know if everybody has the tools to create that foundation. That stated, I think we have it all twisted. Like, we find some... I almost feel like our dignity in saying, like, when we hear people saying, ain't nobody giving you no down payment for your house, it ain't really because they don't want to. It's because they ain't got it. And they can't even imagine having it because they trying to get out of their own. And I'm just suggesting, right, that we've got to start thinking about our economic mindset as well. Hey, y'all, this is the Maze Jackson Show. So, it's been a good one. Todd, Jasmine, dang, you made it out of here and I ain't even mad. Look, we got Todd Stroger, my co-host, Jasmine Turner. Jasmine will be back with us tomorrow as well. Miss Sonia Escobar, music conductor.
But I won't. Tomorrow's Wednesday, right? Yeah.
You won't be here tomorrow?
Right.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, that's right. You got to
Sonia
go.
remember.
Amen.
Not even Sonia. See, Sonia remember.
Because you're Todd. You're unforgettable. Right.
You're right. You gotta knock me out.
Hey, I'm applying for dispensary. I did not say I was going to sneak out of
You'll be waiting on that dispensary application for another 3 years, though. So, in the meantime, we'll talk about it all. Hey, y'all, this has been a great show. So, for everybody, I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show every single day asking the question, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them. Maze said, we out of here. Peace.